Boy, Steven, that's quite a big box there. All right, and welcome to episode 199 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me for the last episode in the hundreds, we have Steven.
Almost there.
We have the mystery that is Chris.
2 digits and another.
And we have Chase, who is still being monitored by a monitor behind him for those watching on video.
G'day.
He also doesn't like peanut butter and celery and is a monster for that.
I like peanut butter. I just don't like raw celery.
You combine them, and it's not technically raw at that point.
Save the peanut butter for the pretzels. Don't waste it on your celery, folks.
Peanut butter and celery is a staple of. It's just great. I love it.
It must be a Florida thing.
No, it's a Virginia thing.
They have crocodiles and alligators down there.
Okay, we have alligators. We don't have crocodiles. That is in a different part of the world. If you're gonna mock where I live, get the taxonomy right.
They have a poster at the Florida airport that's just like, discern the difference between alligators and crocodiles. Welcome to Florida.
Well, it's usually keep your leash on your alligator, but you know, whatever. And keep your small children away from them. And on their own leashes. I don't know. All right. We've gone off the rails. This is great. Let's jump into what we've been doing for this fine episode. And Steven, you weren't here last time because it was just Chase and I.
I wasn't here last night either, so that's fair.
Touche.
Last week, I still played ZZZ because my account carries over to my phone. So I could still do my daily check-ins and contemplate when I'm going to spend some money.
We're going to have an extra quarter intervention for you one day.
I got into the Marvel Tokon beta for this weekend, which coincides also with the Kirby Air Riders Tetris 99 as well. So that's 2 things I got to get done this weekend. I have 1 fucking card left in my Street Fighter 6 Amiibo card collection.
I haven't found a single pack since the 2 that I bought. Not a single.
I recently broke down them because they were like a fair price for me. I just decided to buy some off of eBay, and I just have 1 left, and it's Dalsim. Damn you, Dalsim, you old fuck.
Dalsim.
Later on, I'm going to be sharing probably my biggest amount of pickups. So, video users, you're in for a visual treat. Audio users, keep up. I also, because it was on Game Pass, as always, Chris and I played through and beat Marvel Cosmic Invasion because I kept hearing reviews saying it was short for its price, which I kind of agree. $30 is a lot. Asking for digital, and beat 'em ups I usually like to have physical because then I can just keep playing them with friends and not worry about what system I have it on, or did I transfer it, or did I lend it out digitally and stuff like that.
It's more about replayability with beat 'em ups. Honestly, they're never meant to be super long.
Impressions right now, without giving a full review. I don't know if Chris will chime in when he goes, but I still think Turtles is better. And I think that's more because they had both the big teams working. They had .mu and what was the other one again, Chris?
Lizard Cube, I think.
Lizard Cube. They had the dynamic duo working for them. This one had tribute games, which is not bad, but Scott Pilgrim is kind of like their claim to fame, really, in terms of
that's one of my favorites. That was a good one.
So the biggest issue I had was it felt samey with some characters, and some characters were amazing, so you could tell what they spent more time on, which was nice. But hopefully, they do have like patches that happen for the physical release, because I've had people her games keep freezing when they play 4 players.
That's not good.
Well, not games freezing. Sorry, they get soft locked because the boss can't handle being beat on by 4 superheroes, so the boss just freezes and can't be hit, and you have to restart the whole level over. So,
I don't want to. I quit.
Also, for the sake of science, journalism, whatever you want to call it, I downloaded off of itch.io and I beat Horses in 1 day. I can see why some of these places weren't okay with the content because it mixed a lot of live action in there too.
Okay.
Which I think once they get into that territory, it gets sketchy in terms of like content, because it's one thing to make animated porn, it's one thing to make animated art and
Right.
stuff that's adult like. It's another thing to make pixelated or animated sexual acts, but when it tries to go too realistic, maybe it's more unsettling than it should be.
Okay.
I think that was the point, though.
Yeah, it basically played out as like if Twilight Zone was on HBO and was a lot darker, because I was just like, you feel like you have a choice, but you don't. All it does is affect your dialogue answers, and most people complained that the ending was the same. But yeah, I guess I can kind of see both sides, like, but I can kind of see like there's nothing like that I've ever played or seen of that caliber on Steam or Epic, so maybe they were just like they draw the line with live action stuff. They do warn you in the beginning of all the content, and you have
Right.
to press X to continue and stuff.
How much was it, if you don't mind asking?
$5.
Okay. Because I
It's
think
$5.
I was going to try and pick it up just to see as well out of curiosity. And you said you got it from, I think, itch.io.
It's the IO.
Is that the only place left?
Humble brought it back. They didn't say
Oh,
why.
okay.
But it's $5. The creators have been talking in the comment section of the game on itch.io, both trying to help people who got stuck, reporting bugs. There was a creeper who's like, "Can I remove the mosaics?" And they're like, "No, it's there because of art." But be prepared that you're basically playing an art film. It's entirely in black and white.
Yeah, I knew it was in black and white.
There's
But
almost no sound except for a few sound effects here and there, and the constant sound of a film rolling throughout the entire thing.
the entire time.
The entire time. But you can turn that down because it's called like soundscape setting.
Okay.
There's no difficulty. You just play through it. You do what you're told, and you get your ending.
Okay. Weird. Maybe we'll have to do like a little mini review of it once we've all played it. Just be like, what the hell have we done?
Fair warning, you're not going to be the same afterward if you really want to play it, but okay.
I'm the one that was bringing up the stuff about it. Not even so much about the content of the game itself. It was more of the idea, because originally it was Steam that had removed it. And it was kind of like the conversation around like Steam does a lot of good things, but they become so big that when they decide to censor something, it has a drastic effect at the level of somebody with a monopoly. Not saying they have it, just something similar. And I think that's where the original conversation went. And then just horses just kind of kept going with other stuff, with an Epic canceling it. And then, all this other, we were just like, that kind of got its own little story going.
I haven't been this uncomfortable since the first Wolfenstein game for 360, where you had to make a horrible choice with an animal. So,
and that's the thing; it's very psychological, and it's there to promote a message, and it's a good message, but it's done in a very dark way.
And I've read some interviews from the creators and talking with them, and they were like, "Yeah, it is disturbing because of what it's supposed to be, the lack of control, being like a authoritarian kind of pushing you to do these things, and how you have to kind of go along with it sometimes." And yeah, it sounds like it's just as messed up as everybody thought.
I've watched streamers play these other like short type horror or psychological games like these, but this is the first one to be like, no one except for one guy, one foreign streamer on YouTube was doing a playthrough of it, and even he apologized when he had to watch some stuff a second time to get the puzzle, to figure out the puzzle, and he's just like, "Sorry, chat, you don't have to watch it again."
Oh God.
It's something that should be experienced in a personal setting.
Yeah, I'm not playing this where the kids can see it. Well, they're all adults now, but yeah, it's still.
Yeah, it's basically in the same category, but not the same ferocity as Two Girls One Cup.
Thank God I've never seen that. I avoided that like the plague.
You can, thank God, yes.
So, okay, did not expect this episode to go there. Chris, what you been doing?
Well, I also, as Steve said, I finished Marvel Cosmic Invasion, and I will say the animation is superb.
Oh, good.
The voices, some of them are great, some of them aren't.
Mm.
The gameplay, I think that Shredder's Revenge is the new benchmark for these games.
That's fair.
So
That's been a fantastic game.
so it's going to be tough to beat. You know, if Cosmic Invasion came out first, I think people would be more understanding. But I think right now, in terms of favorite beat 'em ups, this is around like fifth place with Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4 being the top two in terms of modern fighters.
Okay.
Aside from that, I also played a game called Demon School, which carries very heavy Persona 1 and Persona 2 vibes. It's very tactics based, and I suck at tactics games, so it's very difficult for me personally to play, but I do like the concept. And I also finished a game called Shooty Shooty Robot Invasion, which is the only
I
first
love that
person
name.
shooter I will ever say that I enjoyed from start to finish.
And
And I finished it in one day.
I don't have a problem with that. Like I've finished games really quickly. If they're good, I don't mind them being short.
Oh no, it wasn't quickly.
Yeah, I basically stayed on the computer for 8 hours from start to finish.
It's one of those. Gotcha.
I was just like, how could you? You just bought it. And he's like, I had some time and nobody was around because you guys were in Colorado, so I kept playing.
Well, it had a really good story, and the art was fun, and I was just finding myself. You guys play multiplayer games all the time. It's fine.
I'm not arguing with it. I mean, the last game that got me like that was Crow Country, where I played it. Like, I probably would have done it in one sitting if I didn't have other stuff I had to get done that day, which made it 2 days. And then I immediately went and beat it completely again right afterwards within like an hour. So I get it.
There are very few games that will capture me to a point where I am literally captive, and that was one of them.
We're just gonna call it metaphor syndrome from now on.
There you go.
Nice.
So that's it.
All right, Chase, what about you? What you been up to?
To nobody's surprise, still playing Mechanicus, although I think I've broken the game slightly. I basically have, so in the game you play as like you have as a group of tech priests in the Adeptus Mechanicus, and you can complete missions, and eventually you can get up to 6. I have 6. I have them upgraded to an insane amount. There are 6 walking gods on the battlefield, like any given moment. Most of the missions I go through, I don't even actually increase the percentage bar anymore. I just do 0 runs. So I'm like, what's gonna happen now if I don't like progress the game any further? So I'm a little bit worried. I might have to like add a little bit of inefficiency into my play just to make the game continue.
I got to play badly just to feel something.
Yeah, I was like, I think I made a mistake, guys.
You did better, I think. You figured out how to make everything else a mistake.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh my goodness. And of course, as I'll say every time I would talk about Mechanicus, can't wait for number 2, and the soundtrack is amazing.
Nice.
So basically, you turned into that human that the orcs revere.
Yeah, probably. It's getting there.
Oh, God. So, for me, of course, this week is the week of the glorious release of Metroid Prime 4. So, I have been playing a bunch of that. The day it came out, work let me go home a little bit early, which was nice. I sat my butt down, ended up playing it for like 5 or 6 hours straight. Amanda was cool with it. She brought me like a little box of white chocolate covered pretzels as a snack and some drinks so I could sit down and enjoy it, and played that for a while. And a lot of people, their complaints about Miles is so overblown. Like, he's kind of awkward at first and, technical looking at stuff. He's distracted and into a lot of things and nervous about talking with Samus, but he's not annoying like they're talking about, like, oh, this is terrible speech. And I was like, I'm listening to him, and I was like, this man's got ADHD, doesn't he? Like, he sounds like half the time when I'm excited and talking.
On to the new controversy.
Oh yeah, no, we'll talk about those here in a moment.
The music.
Yeah, it's bullshit. But I'm absolutely loving Prime. I was playing with a couple of different control schemes, trying to see what I like. But that game looks, plays, sounds like everything is just phenomenal. The little touches of details everywhere. I'm having a blast with it. I'm going to be traveling a bunch starting tomorrow through most of next week. So I kind of took a break for the last day and a half on Metroid so I could play this while I'm traveling, because this will be all I'm doing tomorrow on the plane is playing Metroid Prime 4, which will be great. But yeah, you were talking about, I was going to save these for during our pickups, but the whole controversy with the amiibos and people complaining about that, saying like, oh, these are locking things behind them. That's going to be bullshit, because everything that you can unlock with these early, you can get in the game. You just have to either beat it or, in one case, 100% it, which is just
Except
for
the
an
music
extra.
in the desert. You can't unlock that.
Yes, you can. You get that when you beat the game. That is also unlockable.
But
Everything the amiibos can do is
nobody
unlockable in
wants to
game.
play the game again.
Yeah, they could deal with that. It's a Metroid game. You always play it again. That's the whole point. So, I don't know. I'm loving it. They can fuck off. I don't care. So, beyond that, I was, before Metroid came out, continuing and still playing Fantasia and Neo Dimension. I'm still locked in on that. And just, you're talking about, Chris, like a game kind of grabbing you and you playing it for a while. This is one of those rare RPGs that actually has kept my attention and interest, and I've just been playing through it.
Nice.
I was just like, oh, I want to see how it looks, because I love the art design. And then I never stopped. It's just,
Yeah, I still love the mechanic of absorbing battles for later.
I do. Oh my God, I love that part. The fact you can do that and then strategize
As
it.
soon as that gets unlocked, it's the best part of the game, because sometimes you're really busy with the story and you're like, just I'll take care of you later.
Well, I would build it up on purpose because you could
Yeah.
get combos and use your abilities better. Like, it was great. Let's say it this way, Chris, and all that. I've gotten to the point with this game, I have brought my Switch OLED out of retirement, thinking I might carry that with me just to keep this game in it so I can play Metroid on the Switch too and not have to switch cartridges.
Oh boy. Well, I guess that works too.
Hey, it's got to use the OLED for something, because it doesn't play that much different between the two systems, so it doesn't really matter.
It's the Sakaguchi magic.
Yeah, and I do like the fact you can get different battle music from different games. I've been playing around with that, which has been a nice touch. I really like the soundtrack in this game, though. It's got good music. Next up, I finally got the Xbox full screen experience to boot up on my Legion Go. Kinda. After finally giving me the update, it gave me the option to turn that on, but it hasn't given me the option for some reason to have it start up in that mode. So whenever the system boots, I still have to click on it to go into that mode. So I don't know if it's fully turning off all the Windows stuff yet. It's weird how I'm getting it in these slow stages. Like, everybody else just gets the ability and they have it. But it's kind of working. I've been using it to mess around with a few games and kind of play, the handheld PC stuff, but it's not up to the level of a Steam Deck for like ease of use, but it is becoming nicer for what it does. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird experiment that's been going on. Beyond that, I got my analog 3D in, and it works beautifully. Like a lot of games, the frame rates are increased to a nice little bit of smoothness. The extra color from the 32-bit color and the different texture filters, and even the scan lines for the different like BVMs or PVMs and things like that work really well to make it look like how an N64 game should look, but a little bit cleaner. The problem is the damn thing, mine has something broken with it where it will not make the virtual game packs, the memory cards. To the point I'm having to frickin' solder new batteries into my old packs just so I can save certain games. I've been working on that. And once again, see, Steven, only a small amount of solder is needed. You don't have to coat the whole thing. But I've reached out to their support. I have done so much troubleshooting with this. I've taken it pretty much to a technical level. I've swapped out the SD card for different ones to try out. I have backed the firmware up to the original version. I've updated it again to the new one, reformatted it. I've even gone so far as to get in contact with other people I know on Threads to get game saves from them that were generated by their system to then put on my SD card to see if I could trick it into reading it. And it did actually work for Cruis'n USA, but it hasn't for other games, weirdly enough. But this is the analog 3D. It is surprisingly small by an N64 because normally the 64 is a little bit wider, a little bit taller. But it's nice. I think the white is a good look for it because I picked this one because they'd never officially made a white N64 that I was aware of. So I figured it'd be different. Black they've done, black or gray and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll get an update on this later that it's working correctly, or maybe it's just a firmware. I cannot think of what physically would be wrong to not make the memory cards and read them, because it can write to the SD card because it makes a folder for every game in the log. It updates the files on there. It's able to read and write and do that. And it does that for either SD card. And I know the other one I have tried it out with is good. I might try a third one just to see. So I'm hoping it's just some kind of weird software bug. I was thinking it might be a firmware issue, but even when I backdated it, it still didn't work. Which, I don't know. It's my luck that I finally get the damn thing and there's a major problem. Because you forget how many good third-party N64 games all required that damn memory card. Specifically, like Gauntlet Legends, you have to have it. A bunch of the racing games, you have to have one.
Yeah.
I was messing with like Tony Hawk. Like it still plays great, but you can't save without a memory card. So it's mostly third parties that kind of went the cheaper route. Instead of including internal memory, they wanted you to use the memory pack. And then the last thing I'll cover on here, the rest of my stuff I'll talk about under the our pickups in a little bit. Has anyone else watched the first part of the final season of Stranger Things?
I haven't watched.
Okay,
the first
just me.
season.
I think it's good. I like where they're going with it. I'm curious to see where the season goes. We're getting the second half of the season on Christmas Day, and then the final part of the final season is on New Year's. So I'll be watching that during my vacation. Yeah, the kids have gotten older. I get that. It's you can stretch disbelief on so many things. It's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. We all grew up watching how many grown adults be high schoolers in different 80s and 90s movies. Well, they're being very 80s by that at this point. So feels about right to me.
They did a video game mistake.
Oh, yeah. I kind of knew. I looked at that and I was like, the color palette's a little rich on that for an NES game.
They used the arcade ROM for an NES game. How dare they?
I was shocked when I went back and watched it again that the damn kid had an arcade machine in his room. I was like, this was the 80s. That is not common. Like, how much money do these people have? And why is he playing? He's playing the NES with the arcade machine just sitting there. I don't know. All right, so let's go over to the group chat and we'll talk about some of our pickups here. So I'm going to go through mine first, just because it won't take nearly as long as what I think Steven's got lined up. Yeah. So Amanda got me my birthday and Christmas gift a little bit early, and that came in. I would show you the large box, but it is too damn big. I'd have to roll way the hell back and hold it up. But here is the small shuttle pod and tiny Ensign Rolaren from Star Trek The Next Generation from the Lego set, because she got me the Enterprise D, which is 3,600 pieces. That is the largest Lego set I've ever gotten, both in physical size and just number of pieces. Beating out.
D.
Say what? That's a big D.
A big D.
That is the big D. The little D would be the Defiant, I think. I'm waiting for a Lego set of that one. But yeah, the largest set I had prior to this was the 1989 Batmobile, which was just over 3,000 pieces. So this one's like an extra 600. And that was already a massive set. But I do like, this thing is made where the doors can open. Even the back, you can open up the entire thing there. Oh, popped off part of the Lego set. the back of it opens up and everything. She can sit inside. They've even got control panels and things decaled in there with the Dodera decks. Nice little nerdy touches. But when I open the rest of the set, that'll have the rest of the bridge crew, so I can just kind of add Rolaire into it. And then, of course, the last thing I was going to talk about is my Silex Amiibo. I finally got that in when I got my game, which I'm liking how he looks. It's actually quite clean, good blue color. I'm liking the Metroid series they did here. All right, Steven, what you got?
Nobody else has any pickups to report? Okay.
We couldn't see Chris's if we wanted to.
And you don't
Yeah,
want to.
he had a lot. His room is filled with pickups, but he's not on camera.
Just start throwing things at you.
Well, I'll go for the most recent. We have the Octopath Traveler Collector's Edition that comes with a ring, jewelry you can wear, dice for some reason, which seems to be the theme I'm going to go with here, and a bunch of extras, art books, posters, and such. For anybody asking, this is a Switch 1 version, or at least the Collector's Edition is. The game itself is the worst performing version, but at least it goes in line with the rest of them I have. Hopefully it'll get patched to just fix any little quirks here and there.
How bad's it run?
It's the only one that runs at 30, and it has some lighting differences where the color's different. Where
Really?
instead of green, it looks like yellow or orange and stuff like that. So
It's very weird.
And
of course, it's a Square game, so there's no upgrade path, right?
If it's not a Final Fantasy game, there's no upgrade paths.
Fair enough.
Next off, we have this one's hot. It's piping hot. It's the Turtles Splintered Fate Piping Hot Collector's Edition. When you take it out of its sheath, it is actually a pizza box that it shows you on the back. Really good artwork. Comes with a comic to help you understand some of the story, some cards. And most interesting,
is it a board game or
dice? And I was like, why do I have dice for this game? And it's because when you look through the game manual / art book, it says, hey, use 3 of the dice it comes with because the rest are numbered. Others are not. And that way you have some choices. You can decide. Here, let me find this one here. You have this dice, which you can roll to decide what topping you're going to order for your pizza that's going to be delivered when you're doing your playthrough. That's what the instructions say. I do not lie here.
So it wants you to order an actual pizza.
Yes.
That is great.
The other 2 dice that don't have numbers on it. This one, let me see. Okay. This one decides which turtle you'll play. So you roll that, and that's the turtle you'll play. And then lastly, you have this one, which decides what kind of run you're going to do and what skill you're going to focus on. And that's exactly what it says in the instructions.
So I have to ask, because that looked like a 6-sided die with which turtle you could choose. So you've got the standard 4. Maybe they add Splinter. Who would be the 6th one that they have? Is it Casey Jones? Okay. Is Splinter the other one, or they do April? I'm just curious. I love Ninja Turtle stuff, so... I figured you'd look at the dice and just see what's on there.
Because it's just a picture of their weapon, so I don't know who uses all the weapons in it. Oh, and you get a coin.
Oh, nice! I love a good collectible coin.
Added to my coin collection. Okay, let's go to the bread and butter now.
He's just getting started, folks.
Prepare your anus, folks.
What?
First off, I finally got Monster Hunter Wilds for Xbox.
Nice. So we can all play.
We can play someday when we're done with everything else. I got the other side of RoboCop, the Unfinished Business.
I got that too. Awesome.
I have the complete set now. I only have it on Game Pass, but now I have it physically. I have Control Ultimate Edition for Series X.
Such a good version.
Got that. PNP Games was having a sale on all these, so because the company's dead, I got Just Cause 4, the Gold Edition, for $8. So I was like, I'll take it. It's got all the content in it.
It's probably not a bad idea. I should look into that.
Let's move over to the other system. As soon as I can swim through this stuff. Okay. It was only $15, so I did pick up the newish WWE game. just
Okay.
because it looked really nice, and you can even unlock action figure versions of the wrestlers.
Really?
A friend
Okay.
asked what this was about, so I bought it to see what it's about. It's called The Devil Within Satgat. I don't know. Maybe it's like a Ghost of Yotai Temu version. I don't know, Wish version. And then, who cares about GTA 6 when you have Mind's Eye?
Why would you even bother buying that?
Because it got to the magic value, $10, baby.
Hey man, you can't be
God.
mad when it's $10.
Yeah, you can, because you can get a lot of other stuff for $10. Games.
Explain how.
I got Mortal Kombat 1 for $10 yesterday.
See, that would be better.
Okay.
That's at least fun.
I'll go to the next one because the last system is where I got the most. Let me just double check. I have them all here. Oh, there's the other one. On the Switch 2 side, I hope you guys like key cards because that's all I got. We got NBA 2K6, 26. Sorry, not 2K6. That's a good game too, though. We have Madden 26. I got my sports now on the go. We got Pac-Man World Repack 2. I got to download the Sonic content for this so I can be as disturbed as I was playing horses.
I got that for Jen on Switch 1 recently. She's been really enjoying it.
Little Nightmares 3, because it's supposed to be a nice little co-op hide and seek platforming game. And then because it was cheap enough now, Star Wars Outlaws.
That is a really good one on there.
I don't call it the gold edition. I call it the good edition because for the price you're getting everything, while the other editions for the other systems have not gone down except for the standard one.
Yeah,
So
I want to pick up another version just so I can go between them with saves, but it's expensive.
And then lastly, let's go with the one that's the biggest amount for. I'm going to stack them on my laptop and see if it reaches the camera. We got Hidden Objects Collection 5 because I'm trying to collect all the Hidden Objects games. We got 0 to Dance Hero because you got to have all the dance games. You know that. You got Class of Heroes 3, which never came out here in any other version. So now I have the whole trilogy on Switch. So this is nice. I played a demo of this called The Good Old Days. It's basically like what if the Goonies and a Metroidvania got mixed together? Because you have
Really?
to change to other characters who have specific abilities to get around.
Who makes it?
But it is also a rogue light because there's a story where you're trying to pay off a debt.
It looks like Access on the bottom corner, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure if that's what it says.
It is. It's Access.
Okay. I saw their logo and I could kind of make it out.
But there is a demo on the shop that you can try out. I got my copy of Shantae Advanced Risky Revolution. Thanks Limited Run for selling a slipcover that won't fit this. So now this is just the redheaded stepchild. Thank you. I got
it's the only one I missed out on.
Of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I told Chris the same thing. I'm going to be weird. I'm not going to play this until I can confirm that there's no physical card I can buy in the store that says upgrade pack on it because I'm trying to collect those. I even bought the ones for the Zelda games that already gave me the upgrade. So that's sitting there too. I got the Doink Soft collection, which is great because it already has one I like called Gunbrella, but it also has Demon Throttle and Gato Roboto, which you talked about last time.
Yeah, I have that collection. That's a good one.
Because it was cheap enough that it warranted buying this over the digital versions, was the Resident Evil triple pack. I already have Resident Evil 5 that I bought when it was super cheap, but now I have a physical of 4 and download of 6 that all run at 60 on Switch 2. We have Raging Bites, which is what if The Walking Dead and Final Fantasy Mystic Quest had a child?
That's weird.
Very, very weird, very interesting. Stack's getting up there. Here's the case. What Square Enix does when you buy their collector's editions is they never put the game in the collector's edition. They always sell it to you separately and have the game just sitting outside of it instead of giving you a digital code. Thank you, Square, at least for that. Yes, there's the case for the turtles. You already saw the turtles. We're getting up there almost. Well, let me move this over. There we go. Curse of the Sea Rats, which is supposed to be a pretty fun 4-player beat 'em up, We'll see if it's better than Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It's getting up there. My second copy of Hello Kitty Island Adventure, because now it has a Switch 2 edition. So I did upgrade this one, and it is multiplayer, so I can play co-op with the wife. Dread Out, because you can't have enough Resident Evil clones. Why not more? See if you like them. Can't forget the other hidden object collection, 6. Shopping Clutter. Oh, if you think these are bad, wait till next week. Then we have Button Up, where you grab a Joy-Con and jump into the unique platforming of Button Up. We're almost there. And lastly, Sonic Cross Worlds, because instead of waiting for the physical Switch 2 edition, they're doing the upgrade for half price. So if you bought this for cheap, then you can get the upgrade for $5 and play this in 4K. Oh, I did get high enough. Yeah! You can see Sonic on the top. Okay.
Try not to hit your button to stop your camera because that'll mess up the whole show.
That was actually my whole set. So let me take off my pickup. That was all my video game pickups. I don't need to go into the other pickups. Mr.
Lord.
President, the first tower went down. Okay. Anyway.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Yep. So, all right. Well, we'll go ahead and jump over to the news then. Let's start with that. Hey. So, first off, Netflix is trying to take over the world and basically is moving ahead with the purchase of all of Warner Brothers media for $82.7 billion, which means Netflix will get control of all of the Warner Brothers movie history, their TV shows, their video game development, all of DC Comics and its parts of it, everything from HBO Max, and all that stuff. They will be divesting off Discovery and some of the other companies, but this is going to be kind of a mess because the people like over at Netflix are saying they continue to release films into theaters when they do this, but the time between release and streaming will greatly decrease as they claim, quote, long exclusive windows aren't consumer friendly. So expect maybe a month between a movie coming out in theater, if it even does, and then it popping up on streaming shortly thereafter, or just not having theatrical releases at all because they're trying to remove that. Because, well, the Netflix guy has kind of already said he doesn't really like theaters and just kind of wants everyone to have home theaters and that be it.
But they said you need to have a theatrical run to be eligible for an Oscar.
I'm sure they're going to be trying to get that changed again by pushing all this stuff, but the deal isn't set to close until Q3 of 2026 after Warner Brothers Discovery splits off their networks into separate companies. So they'll be starting to do that next year. And then HBO Max will be around for a time being with Warner Brothers and the HBO content slowly being added to Netflix as they go. So you'll start seeing things doubling up as it pops up over there. The purchase still has to pass legal muster for regulatory approval before it can move forward. But in our current state, political state
not.
for that, there's a chance it might, or it might not, simply because the current administration wanted another group to get it because they're friends with them to get control of it. So we'll see how that goes back and forth. This does kind of stop another group from buying Warner Brothers that was trying to do it, which would have put the company and all of their shows, movies, assets, comics, and all that under foreign control, because it would have been part of the Saudi Arabia group buying all of it and having control of that. So while not ideal, this might at least be a little bit better. It's kind of like literally the lesser of two evils and how that goes. Warner Brothers games is included in the purchase, with many worrying Netflix will push them to release the games kind of more for their tablet or like mobile phone focused stuff for Netflix games. I'm kind of, over their PC or console releases. This also puts the future of like Mortal Kombat with NetherRealm, Arkham series with Rocksteady, any of the Telltale games, which is a lot of the Lego series and things like that, and more kind of in question on if they're going to keep those around, if they're going to, how they're going to want to actually focus that. But Ironically, now Netflix will own the patent for the Nemesis system, Steven, because I know you love that. But they're not likely to use it because why have a Nemesis when they've proven you could just buy up your competition? Go ahead.
Did you mean Telltale or Traveler Tales?
Maybe I saw the TT and I probably thought Telltale. Yeah, Traveler's Tales was the Legos.
Traveler Tales
Sorry.
is Lego. Telltale is Dispatch and Walking Dead and stuff.
Right.
So I think they're safe.
I think they're separate. Yeah. Sorry. I think I just typed it in there when I was working on the other stuff.
All of Lego is at stake.
Well, at least the Lego games, if they have the same developers, because it depends if they allow them to keep doing that or if they change the license deals.
You can have a Nemesis system with Roblox.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Because that's another massive merger of all of this stuff kind of going into one. So yeah, we'll get more content for what they allow, but I can already see the price is probably going to skyrocket because Netflix is already bad enough about raising their price, but they're wanting to kind of push out the movie theater stuff to make it just for home release. There's a much larger push away from physical media versions of this because they want you to keep paying monthly and streaming. So a lot of the Warner Brothers backlog TV shows and stuff like that may see their physical releases going away. So get those now while you can. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on this or interest? I know this is kind of a new story that popped up, I think, as soon as last night, actually, for the announcement.
I'm just taking how it affects me.
Mm-hmm.
And basically overall, I don't think they'll really touch the games other than there'll be different branding on my box art for the big releases. NetherRealm and all those other ones have already done mobile versions of these and VR versions of some of these, so I don't see that changing because they're looking to just have it in as many types as possible. I also think because I've heard news that they'll just allow WB to get the $8 billion breakup fee, which is entitled to them if it just doesn't go through, because it sounds like the current administration doesn't want this to go through, so they'll just be like no, and unless some palms are greased, it's not going to happen. Other than that, I don't mind when stuff gets added to Netflix because I have it covered by T-Mobile, so it's not too bad for me. But it's just more of like a wait and see because even Netflix sent me an email saying like, "Hey, I'm sure you heard the news. Please wait till next year to see what happens."
Right.
So it's just like nothing set in stone yet.
Yeah, I think my concern is like Netflix's comments and their actions they've had over the past few years in regards to like theatrical releases, how they feel movies should be, what games should be made, stuff like that with their development houses. That's part of what kind of concerns me. It's like not what's been announced, but knowing what they normally do, how that can affect stuff moving forward. But we'll have to go on that. Chris or Chase, you guys have anything you wanted to add to this or any thoughts on it?
Not for the
Nothing.
moment.
Nothing of value is lost. That's what
It's too early to tell. So
yeah, I'd argue depending how it goes, there would be some value because I mean that Warner Brothers is one of the larger, movie houses for over a century, and that's a lot that could go one way or the other. All right, so speaking of losing things and stuff changing, here's our next one. So memory company Micron has announced they are exiting the consumer memory business to focus on supplying AI companies only. These are the guys that they run the Crucial website and brand for RAM and other storage that a lot of people use, be it in the private sector for businesses or the private sector for individuals ourselves. That's going to be actually shuttering. Micron Chief Business Officer Sumit Sadana stated, quote, "The AI-driven growth in the data center has led to a surge in demand for memory and storage. Micron has made the difficult decision to exit crucial consumer business in order to improve supply and support for our larger strategic customers in faster-growing segments." So basically, there's a particular type of RAM that AI companies use, which is a multi-stack silicone where they can layer them on top of each other for faster processing speed and stuff. But it costs more to make, so the AI companies are paying them a lot more money to make that. So they're wanting to stop normal RAM production that we have for our laptops, desktops, video cards, game consoles, things like that, to go just for the higher cost one while closing all the other ones. And I'm kind of wondering, like, when this bubble hopefully eventually bursts, and I'm pretty sure it will at some point with AI, that's going to put them in a position where they're supplying just that one group and have shut down all their public stuff. RAM's already jumped up in some places almost 4 times as much as it was, just for consumer memory on computers. That's going to be leading to some of the increasing cost on consoles because they're looking at more cost increases for those once they go through the supply of what they already have, as well as, we talked about it previously with like NVIDIA saying that they're going to start supplying the dies to third-party manufacturers that will no longer have the VRAM. They're going to have to source that, which is going to lead to kind of a shrinkage on who can actually make graphics cards, making them harder to get a hold of. So, yay, gaming's getting way more expensive, or just general computing. And I find it kind of funny because they're putting all this money into doing AI and everything, but then making it more expensive for people to get the computers and things that they would even use with that. So they're feeding something while starving the people that are supposed to be consuming it. And at some point, that's going to really lead to a misbalance of who's got it and who doesn't. So, do you guys have anything on this one, or
I didn't know what Micron was until today.
you never heard of Micron? They've been around for a while.
I know of Micro Machines.
I'm sure you've heard of Crucial, because that was more of their public-facing part of it. Was
I may have seen the logo. It's just PC parts were never my forte overall.
Yeah,
And they never really said what the brand was when they were tearing down a system. Like, oh, this uses Crucial Micron RAM or something like that. But
it's a lot of what people would use. I mean, I've seen it a lot for IT work and stuff like that over the years, where, for getting a hold of memory, storage, and things like that, or being a supplier through it. And then Micron does supply a lot of RAM and things for different companies, for different game consoles, things like that, as a general supplier. So the fact that they're stepping out of that is kind of what's concerned me and made me wonder how much things are going to cost. Like, I know this is going to have an effect on things like the Steam Machine, because that will increase how much that's going to have to cost to get that RAM that it would need to run, be it either soldered on RAM, or if I believe it's using, I think they opened it and it was looking at laptop sticks that you could remove. So if that's an upgradable part, that's going to end up costing more, which is going to increase the cost on that. So that might be part of it. They haven't announced the price yet, but I'm sure it's going to be higher than expected now.
basically, there's never been a better time to buy a Switch 2.
No shit. I wonder if this is going to actually affect that to have to go up. So I don't know. Chase, you picked a good time to buy that second computer, man. Good on you. I need to upgrade the RAM in mine. That's usually one of the things when I build a new system. I don't get the full amount of RAM because I could just upgrade it as I go. So I put the cost into things I can't change as much, and then kind of expand out from there. And I'm like, shit, I got to get caught up now. Update my laptop and my desktop some more. So, all right, let's move on to the stuff you guys actually give a damn about, the Game Awards. Y'all usually you zone out or get kind of bored when I talk anything technical, so it matters to me. All right, so the 2025 Game Awards nominations. We're probably not going to be talking too much about who actually wins this, because that's happening on
We know who's going to win
11th.
most of these. I have the inside scoop.
Yeah, it's going to end up being Kojima somehow. I still love that joke that, he's friends with Kojima.
Just because
Kojima
he's in
doesn't even know.
Zootopia 2 doesn't mean he deserves an award.
There you go. So we're just going to go through. We picked out a couple of the categories and who's in them. We have who we've each voted for it. Some of them we just voted because we didn't have a choice to go through the list, and we don't really care or know who these people or games are. So we're going to start off with the first one, which is Best Multiplayer. This one, the nominees were Ark Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring Night Rain, Peak, which, by the way, we still need to play that. We bought it, and we haven't tried it yet, and Split Fiction. So myself, I ended up putting in for Split Fiction just because that game on its own basis has to be multiplayer. Like it has no function beyond that point. And their series of games have been really good. But I'm kind of curious of what y'all's thoughts are on some of this. So, Steven, what about you?
I picked Peak, made by one guy, so it's got the one guy syndrome. It's gotten me to think that something like RV There Yet was made by the same guy because some of the UI was copied over, or it looked like it was copied over. But the amount of coverage I've seen of this game and the updates they're doing, I'd be surprised if it didn't go to Peak because it's so well loved. Although I might see Night Rain taking it, but I voted for Peak.
All right. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I could see Elden Ring Night Rain possibly getting it just because how popular like Soulsborne style games are, but I personally was caught up between Split Fiction and Battlefield 6. But I ended up choosing Split Fiction just because obviously like it was very like the Chino and I played it, we had an amazing time, and it is a very cleverly designed game. So I think
Nice.
I think it should probably take it.
All right. What about you, Chris? You're muted, Chris. It's hard to tell when we can't see you as well. So,
Well, I chimed in, and I will never get that chime back. So there's my answer.
well, what
He
was
said
the
Peak.
answer?
Oh, fine. It was Peak, if only because it was very amusing to watch. A lot of people are enjoying it, and it has a lot of. They're always adding more mechanics to make things more interesting. So they're keeping up with people who still enjoy it, which is always nice.
Awesome. I'm kind of wondering if Arc Raiders will get something just because you hear so much of it and the popularity recently, if that might pop up. But
Sometimes they give it away when they tell you who's appearing. So if Joseph Fares is like he's going to be appearing, then I'm like, does that mean you're accepting an award?
well, they may
Or
bring
does that
them
mean
back
you're
just
announcing a new
because
game?
right. You could be announcing a new game
Announcing
or
a new
just
game with
cussing at someone.
middle fingers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
it's more of
drunk.
just
Like
yeah, he's just that's just more that he's there. All right. Next category we had was best sports and racing, which I guess they combined them this year. So we had EA Sports FC 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World, Rematch, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So for that one, Steven, we'll start with you on your thoughts.
The biased part of me voted already for Mario Kart World, while the popularity of the internet, it might go to Rematch.
Okay.
Which is basically what's that game? The cars and the soccer ball.
Oh, Rocket League.
It's basically Rocket League without the cars, and it's with people instead.
What?
Isn't that
Isn't that
just soccer?
soccer? Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh Lord. Chris, what about you? Which one for best sports and racing did you go with?
I thought it was weird that they mixed it, but I
Yeah, me
played
too.
the one that I played the most. And that was Mario Kart World. It's not
Okay.
perfect, but
Just got an update.
it's fun.
Yeah. I ended up going with Mario Kart World as well, just because I've had so much fun racing and doing different things with that one. It's Mario Kart. It's just a great one. I don't play that many sports games, and I still feel it is so weird that they're combining these two. Racing and sports should be separate categories.
They
But
didn't have enough sports.
I,
Yeah, more racing, more both.
who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah. Chase, what about you? What's your pick on this one?
I haven't played like any of these games, so I just kind of picked which one I was like, oh, I'll give it to Mario Kart World. Like, but if I had to be like objective about it, I imagine that EAFC 26 is going to win it, just because obviously like billions of people enjoy football / soccer, whatever you want to call it.
They paid for trailer time.
Yeah.
If it was in that case, I'd probably say Sonic Racing Crossroads will probably have some unveil trailer of some other character or track or something like to have it pop up. Now, here's what I wanted to ask you, Chase. If this was New Zealand focused, what kind of sport game would they have? Because you have those interesting sports down there.
Well, the two big sports down here is cricket and rugby. So I would say
'Cause
that.
I'm sure they make video games for that.
Yeah,
I
oh
mean, it's a
yeah, they
sport. They
do.
pretty much always do.
They
Do you
make
play them?
there's. I don't play them down here now personally, but there's actually rugby games down here made by I think it's called
Nice.
like Big Ant Studios or something, and it's like you can only get them down here in like this region.
Gotta
Okay.
wait for an indie developer to combine them and make like Krugby or Ricket.
There you go.
You got to know what a crumpet is to learn how to play cricket.
Cheerios, you don't have those for breakfast? That's nasty.
Moving on for all of our sakes. Next up, we had Best Sim and Strategy, which had Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, The Altars, and 2 Point Museum. So, Chase, we'll start with you on this one. Which way did you go? Because I know some of these you actually do play.
I did Civ 7 because
I kind of wondered if that'd be your answer. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's probably out of the ones there, probably the better of the ones. The Final Fantasy one I think's a bit weird that it's there when it's basically a remaster remake of a game that's already been and gone. But so I
Fair.
thought that was a little weird that it was in there. But yeah, Civ 7 for me.
Yeah, I actually did end up picking Final Fantasy Tactics mostly because I hadn't played most of these, and I was like, I know that one, so I clicked on it. You're not wrong. It is a remake of an older game, so that's kind of an interesting one to have in there. I am kind of curious at why they mixed simulation and strategy, since those can be such different. It's like sports and racing again. Like it feels like
Yeah.
they should have different ones.
These are probably awards that they're just going to be like, while we're playing like an ad, we're just going to announce in the background like who's winning them.
Right? It's just such a weird thing to have Final Fantasy Tactics and then 2 Point Museum in the same category for
Yeah.
this. It's like, okay. Steven, what about you?
I think for nostalgia's sake, people are gonna vote for the remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics.
I think it would get popular.
Although if they wanted to get like, give credit where it's due, I would give it to like the Altars because of how many things you have to micromanage. And I wouldn't mind it if 2 Point Museum won because there's so many 2 Point games that I feel like that development studio now is like the new Bullfrog in terms of theme games, like theme park, theme hospital, is they're making their games in the same comedic way.
Oh, nice. Okay. Chris, what about you?
I picked 6 Civilization 7, if only because I have a pretty long-standing nostalgic memory of that game, and I have a lot of friends who stick by it after all this time, so it must still be a really good formula.
Fair enough.
Did you say 6 Civilization 7?
Yes. I'm hip with the kids.
6, 7.
Oh, God. All right. Our next category is Best Family, which started off, we had Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction. So, Chris, you want to start us off on that one?
Which one was this again?
Best Family.
Best Family, because mine are like not in order. So let's see.
Yeah, it
This
was
is
kind
all
of a
the-
weird list. Sorry about that.
Yeah, these were all the games that are on Switch.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I picked
Switch 2.
I picked Ape Wearing Tie because that's the one that I had the most fun with, and I think it counts mostly as a family game.
Okay. For myself, I went with Mario Kart World because when I think Best Family, I kind of think of the type of game you would experience as a family. And I love Donkey Kong Bonanza, but it's not really as much for playing with family. It's just the two people. But Mario Kart, like I brought my Switch 2 to a friend's house the other day, and we finally got to play like 4-player on the screen, just attacking the living hell out of each other, throwing shells everywhere. And it's just a very fun family setting. And that's kind of what Mario Kart has always been. So that's the way I went with it. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, haven't really played any of them, so I just picked Mario Kart World again. Although I'm like oddly wondering if my choice was wrong because I'm like, I feel like Mario Kart World could create enemies just as quickly as it could create friends and families. So I don't know. Maybe not.
There you go. Bring Mario Kart World to your Thanksgiving. Watch
Exactly,
everybody
yeah.
leave.
Yeah, best family ruining. I could see that being in there.
Smash Bros would definitely win that title.
Oh God, that is just toxic for some people. Steven, what about you?
I just went with the obvious Mario Kart World as well. But I think they'll give it to Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the Lego games. Like Lego Voyagers looks fun. I do want to play it, but it seems like more of an avant-garde artsy style game just because of the very unique styling of it. Doesn't feel
It's
like
like it basically. Like I watched uh, 4 streamers race in teams
Mhm.
with the game, and it's essentially if you took all the high octane out of Split Fiction or It Takes Two, then it's Lego Voyagers.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
'Cause there's just a lot more button and physics puzzles.
Okay. All right. So let's move over to one of what I feel is the most contentious on this list that we're going to have a discussion about. So
Whatever do you mean?
now we have best fighting. And this one, I don't think some of these should even be in category. So let's talk about it. We have 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. And I will say off the bat, I think Capcom Fighting Collection 2 and Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection should not even been allowed because they're just collections of games. And as I said earlier, this before we started recording, that would like be saying MAME could win every year because you could just play a bunch of games because
And
they
it
don't
should.
change them. They don't do like drastic updates or fixes, which is what Virtua Fighter 5 did. Like it's actually adding more stuff to that. They're literally just the arcade games for that. So I ended up going with Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage for my pick. Steven, what about you?
So this category is probably one of the worst this year because going from the bottom up, Virtua Fighter 5 is an update to a ass old game. So, why is it in this and what is it doing there?
They at
Mortal
least
Kombat
did
Legacy
updates to
Collection,
it.
yes, it's just a collection.
Mhm.
Capcom Fighting Collection 2, just a collection. And 2XKO still in beta, and it's not even releasing on consoles until January. So, the only thing I voted for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves because it's the only new game on here, one. And two, it would be the perfect time to announce their next season or next character or something,
Right.
while everything else can just go to hell because it shouldn't qualify.
I will admit part of my Virtua Fighter 5 vote was nostalgia. Just I love Virtua Fighter games, so I will not be ashamed of that. Chris, what about you?
For the same basic reason, I also voted for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, but I'm
Nice.
surprised that Mortal Kombat 1 wasn't on this list. Uh, there are other games that exist that have come out at around that time that count as fully functional, fighting games. I think there was a new version of Melty Blood that came out. There's no shortage of new fighting games. They're just not, I guess they're not on the payroll. That's all.
I'm trying to remember if Mortal Kombat 1 released, if that was last year, maybe it doesn't qualify because it was on last year's.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of for that. Yeah,
Well,
Mortal Kombat 1 released in
games in Capcom
2023.
Fighting Collection 2 were on consoles years ago.
Yeah. Well, Mortal Kombat 1, the release date was September 14th, 2023, so it's been out for a while.
Still
yeah.
more than Legacy Collection. Not only that, but Legacy Collection has had so many problems.
Yes.
It should not be getting an award right now.
Yeah, I hope they patch that the release comes out here soon. Probably not, because that's in a couple days.
Yes, I hope they patch the Game Awards to have better fighting games.
Yeah.
That would be great if they're just like, yeah, we changed voting. We got a patch update. Sorry, guys. Here's the notes. All right. Chase, what about you?
I also voted for Fatal Fury for all the same reasons that were previously stated. Why on earth are some of these games in this?
Oh, man. Yeah. I probably should have gone with Fatal Fury as well. I think I was just looking through them as I was making the list and was like, oh, no, Virtual Fighters. I went with that one. So I will admit my mistake, and I probably post voting would have gone with Fatal Fury as well.
You don't have to be part of the zeitgeist. Pick whatever you
Yeah.
please.
Steven had a good damn argument though that it's the only actual new game. I'm like, that's a good point. Well, Virtua Fighter 5, I thought they did add a lot of stuff when they changed it. But yeah, it has been out for a little while. It's not been as popular as it's been, but either way. So let's move on to the one that's going to have the most fighting probably between Steven and I. This is best RPG.
Easy.
Say what?
Easy choice.
It's not what you're thinking. So the options we had for this, we had Avowed, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. I will start off and say, why the hell is Monster Hunter Wilds there? I don't really consider that an RPG. But for myself, I picked Avowed because as an actual RPG, that is one of the games I spent so much time in. You could customize it, build your world, actually design your character, and do so many different things. Not just following a predetermined pretty story, but actually make choices and do things and customize how you do it like an RPG. Because, you know, they're role-playing games, not as much. But that's my choice. Let's just go ahead and get this over with. Steven, what about you?
We rolling with the Expedition 33.
Oh, no.
Every other choice is just...
You know, honestly, that's calmer than the response I figured I would get about this. Just because you gave me so much shit about Avowed for so long. I was just like, oh, I'm going to have to hear this. But no, that's...
Avowed, you can't even get a physical copy.
Okay, you're not wrong. I'm annoyed by that. That's a surprisingly calmer response than I thought I'd get. I was ready for it. Chase, what about you?
I'm just here to tell you that you're all wrong. It's actually Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I kind of had a feeling you'd be going that way. Is Shinoa... Blink twice if Shinoa's on your side pointing a gun at you to say that.
No.
Although Chase...
Oh, God, I just saw her hand. Is she actually next to you?
Yeah.
Although, Chase, I did see the clip where they put a Bob Ross character in there.
Oh, my God.
That game, I mean, like, because I haven't played it personally, but, like, I'll take Swan's term. I've played it through osmosis. And, and that game is actually like really in depth, the things you can do, and looks good. The story is actually like the story is actually like quite like entertaining, and like it just looks like it's actually a game that I need to probably pick up at some point because it actually does look quite fun to play.
Yep. Like I said, blink twice if you're being.
No, actually, she's too busy murdering people as a mercenary right now.
Nice. Chris, what about you?
Well, I also picked Expedition 33, if only because it has... it's... In terms of story, I judge role-playing games by a lot of things. By art, by sound, by character, and by how the story affects you. And Expedition 33 affected me in the way that a really good book will affect a person.
That's fair.
You go from the start, you go to the end, and you want to see what happens. And essentially, it was transcendent. I am very happy that, you know, a studio that didn't have to be AAA could make something as good or better than AAA games.
Nice. So am I the only one that was kind of questioning why Monster Hunter Wilds and Outer Worlds 2 were on here? Because I know Outer Worlds 2 I could kind of see as being an RPG, but Monster Hunter Wilds never felt like an RPG to me. That is an action adventure
Capcom's like,
type
we have a
game.
new monster to announce. Make us a nomination that we won't win. Okay.
Okay. That's
Outer Worlds is like, we have a commercial that says available now. Put us in too. Okay.
Outer Worlds 2 I could see kind of getting into that because your customization, growth, and change, you know, it is kind of an RPG but in a shooter mechanic with the story and stuff.
Better than the first one in almost every way, people are saying. So
fair enough. But yeah, so that was an interesting one. All right, now on to best action and adventure. This is where we start seeing a repeat of a lot of the same games that are going to pop up in here, other than
Yeah,
yeah.
don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that.
Oh, okay. So Chase is going to go first. We're going to pull
Yeah,
that
we're
ripcord.
gonna get you started on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want Chase annoyed. So starting off the list, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. And then we have Ghost of Yote, Hollow Knight Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. So Chase, let her rip.
So I'll get what I picked out of the way first is Ghost of Yote, because as far as an action adventure game is concerned, I think it was pretty phenomenal.
Nice.
Although there's quite a few there's actually quite a few good choices, because Indiana Jones is actually a really strong, in my opinion, a really strong contender for this game as well, for this award. But yeah, this is where you start to see like the same 2 or 3 games show up in every single category, and this really annoys me. Like, I'm sure that one of these games is really good, but
Except for one.
no, just one. I just said one of these games. I wasn't including that one. Right? But
One of these does not belong on any category. Anyway.
but it's like, can we please stop with like, can we please stop putting like this one game on literally like every award? Well, actually, it was more than one, but still, like, it's just really annoying. We already know who's probably gonna, which awards that game's gonna win already. You don't need to give it all these other lesser ones too.
Yeah, I'm surprised Death Stranding 2 on the beach wasn't under Best Family, just because Jeff Keighley be like, Kojima, I love him so much. He's my family. Yeah, it's got a baby.
Family.
Oh man. All right, Chris, what about you? What's your best action adventure and your thoughts on the contenders here?
Well, yeah, it's going to be annoying, but the important thing is that there's going to be stuff that we haven't seen yet, or the stuff that's going to be really, anticipated. I picked Hollow Knight Silksong because that was very anticipated, and for all the bluster, people adore it, and it's always nice to see that.
Fair enough. Steven, what about you?
I think the most talked about thing at the award show is what color lipstick Jeff Keighley's going to wear to kiss Kojima's ass. Because Death Stranding 2 on the butt better not win anything because of that reskinned prequel to bullshit. Anyway, I voted for Ghost of Yote, both what I've seen and the amount of care they put into that game, both in just knowing when to crunch your screen size to make it like, very picturesque and very action oriented, and having even different film modes to make it even look different is showing the type of care you expect from Sucker Punch. Yeah, Hollow Knight Silksong was anticipated, but that's not this category. And it would be neat for Indiana Jones to win, because action adventure and Indiana Jones goes hand in hand. What the hell are you doing there, Split Fiction? And
Yeah.
Fire Death Stranding 2. Okay.
Yeah, Split Fiction, that is kind of a weird one for it to be in that category. I agreed for like Best Family, or multiplayer, stuff like that. I could see it being in those categories, but this one's kind of weird. But we all know I'm going with Indiana Jones in the Great Circle.
It's a good choice for this award, actually.
And even just for me personally, action and adventure, Indiana Jones every time is one of the core stories and movies and tales that I've always loved since I was a kid. And playing through this game was like living through those movies and actually experiencing it. And, you're diving into different areas and you are literally adventuring. And we all like a good game where you can just beat the living shit out of Nazis. It's great. So, I am so happy with how that game turned out. And that's another one. I wish they had had a true physical release. I don't care where, just because I want it in my collection. I mean, for God's sakes, I keep the damn hat right there. Like, I have Indy's hat that Rachel was kind enough to give me. So yeah, I absolutely love Indiana Jones stuff. So as soon as I saw that on there for action and adventure, I was like, yeah, there can be no other winner for me on that one. All right, so let's go on to our next category. We've got best indie game or best debut indie game. Sorry.
That was action game.
Oh, sorry. I scrolled down too far. Best action game. Ignore me. Sorry, I scrolled the screen down and I guess I went too far. We just did action and adventure. Yeah, just action game. I think that's what I read. So for that one, we have Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, or Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Chase, we'll start with you on this one.
There's only one clear winner for this. It's Doom the Dark Ages. There's literally nothing like. And Ninja Gaiden 4 is good. I really do appreciate it. I'm a huge Ninja Gaiden fan, but ripping and tearing, just running and gunning,
shoving shields through things.
Exactly. There's a clear winner. That's that.
Okay. Chris, what about you?
Shinobi Hand-Drawn Art of Vengeance wins my vote. It's very beautiful, difficult, and really feels like the old games. It basically has the same thing going as Streets of Rage 4, which I always appreciate.
Nice. Steven, what about you?
As the only game that actually fits this category, there's only one clear winner, and that's Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It's the actual action game. It's not the first person shooters mentioned. It's not the roguelike best roguelike game, and it's not the hack and slash. Action game for some reason can be anything. Why isn't Split Fiction on here? It was already for best action adventure. Why isn't it also for best action? What's going on here? Why are we being so gamist about first person shooters? I would not give it to Doom because Shinobi just is more heart pumping and you can cut all the bosses in half. Okay.
I am with Chase on this one for Doom the Dark Ages, hands down. No other option for me on that because yes, it does have a first person perspective, but that would be like saying Metroid couldn't count for an adventure game because it's in first person. I don't think that defines, exactly what it is because you are still exploring these environments and a lot of the action, and it is very combat heavy because it is Doom. That is what Doom does. Doom's going to be Doom, but I just, oh God, it was such a good game. Go ahead, Steven.
I do want to add a little thing for you and Chase.
The
voice actor for the Doom Slayer is actually in Metroid Prime 4.
I saw that. I was so happy to see that. I was like, that's cool.
So look for him. Or hear him.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I like when they cross over for stuff like that. It's fun. So, and once again, we will remind everybody that there is no wrong answer for these, unless it is, and unless it's continuing to be Death Stranding 2, we will judge you. But, everything else is personal choice or just Jeff Keighley's love affair. All right, let's do best debut indie game. For this one, we had Blueprints from Doggy Bomb and Raw Fury, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 from Sandfall Interactive and Kepler Interactive, Despolate from Julian Cordero, Sebastian Valbuena, and Panic, and then Dispatch from Ad Hoc Studios. So, Steven, what did you choose for this one?
Once again.
Yeah,
it's the rags to riches story. It's the best story you could get for a debut indie game. I don't even know what Despolote is. Is that some kind of salsa for my chips?
Not as sure on that one. Chris, what about you? How do you? I'm guessing we're gonna have a repeat answer, but I'll go ahead and ask you on this one.
I went with Dispatch, if only because it's got a lot more twists and turns than were actually mentioned. So it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah, it's one I really want to play. I just kind of want to wait for it to finish so I could get the whole story and enjoy it.
A lot of people are doing that, yes, but apparently the story is so gripping for some that they don't mind getting right into it.
Nice. I don't want to get in the middle of it and then, because I know I have my tendency where if there's a gap between it, I may not return to it as easily. And I know how my brain works.
I wish it wasn't PC only. For now.
For now, at least, yeah.
I could see it eventually becoming a console release once the story finishes. They have a lot of games like that they did in the past, so
In the past, they just put the first episode on the disc and the rest you downloaded.
That's why I like the Switch versions, because they were all on there. That's why I got like for Batman and stuff like that. Chase, what about you? What's your response on this one?
I actually picked Blueprints.
But you didn't even play correctly.
She's been playing it more. She played through more of she did all the run throughs and stuff.
Okay, let's quote Chase on this. You actually have to do this. Chase said, "Fuck that."
Yeah, I don't want to do it, but like watching somebody else do it, that's fine. That's no different than you playing Persona.
I beat that by osmosis.
Exactly. Same concept. No, I just voted for Blueprints on the principle that I wasn't going to give it to Claire Obscure, because why the fuck is Claire Obscure in this, and also like all the major like awards as well? Like give the little people something instead.
They aren't the little people.
They aren't the little people. So
There's 13 of them.
I don't give a damn. Like it's like everybody's literally like sucking the fucking expedition tit, and it's just like
If you ask me, why isn't Peak in here, which is an indie game made by one guy? It is literally made by an independent one guy.
It's because Claire Obscure took their spot.
No, it's because fucking the Chipotle Despelote took its spot.
I still think that's still an indie game, but like Claire Obscure, I feel deserves to be there more than some of the previous ones they've had. Like Dave the Diver should not have been on indie. Like, yeah, you've got a small group, but it's also funded by a much larger company, and it's like they're pretending to be tiny while being part of a larger one. Claire Obscure's developers are actually a smaller group, and that has been an impressive game, but it's not my choice. I went with Blueprints, and I have been playing that one. And I'm really enjoying it. Eventually, I want to talk to you, Stephen, about some of those puzzles and things I've been fighting with. And fuck that damn dartboard. We'll figure that thing out eventually. I wish that was portable and I could take it with me. That would be a good flight game. But it's caught my attention on the creativity of the story of having to work your way through that mansion, figure out the environmental puzzles, and it's just like I've enjoyed Claire Obscura, but it's kind of fallen off. I need to find a way to get back into it to keep playing it. But Blueprints, by its design, I kind of really like going through, and you can have a quick run, have it go wrong, and then you learn from it. So as you're kind of going through it, it advances it somewhat. So once again, no wrong answer.
Let's go to the next category, which is totally different from this one.
Yeah.
Which is because they had this is best debut, and then we'll have our next one, best independent game.
How come we don't have a best debut action adventure? What the hell?
Right. Why don't we just have best debut category and just throw whatever the hell you want in there? This is our first time having this category. There's nothing about it. It's probably going to be that damn beach game. All right. So best independent game. We have Absolum from Guard Cruise Games, Super Monks, and .mu. Ball X Pit by Kenny Sun and Devolver Digital. Blueprints, once again, Doggy Bomb and Raw Fury. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 from Sandfall Interactive, Kepler Interactive. Hades 2 by Supergiant Games. And Hollow Knight Silk Song by Team Cherry. So, Chase, it's your time to start this one off. What's your vote and your thoughts on these?
Absolum.
I voted for Blueprints.
No, I voted for Absolum.
Oh,
I've been wanting to play that game like so bad because it looks amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, like honestly, most of these games that are on here, like if like Hollow Knight won this, like I wouldn't be upset. Whatever. The only one I'd be upset for is Claire Expedition 33 because fuck that. Like that shouldn't be in here. It's already got like the top 5 like most important awards. Like why the fuck is it in here in the low ranks?
Yeah, you're not gonna like part of my response on this one, Chase. So I realized I'd read the wrong one when I was reading my response from earlier for best debut indie, because yes, this is confusing to have the debut and the other one, Steven. I agree. I did vote for best debut being Expedition 33, not Blueprints. Best independent, I put Blueprints. But I agreed with the for the best debut that it really did catch a lot of the zeitgeist with people, and you had a lot of word of mouth and so forth. But for best independent game, that's the one I went with, Blueprints. Sorry. That list way off on the left just kind of I got trying to read it side-eyed and got mixed up on that one. So what was your choice, Steven? Yeah, shocking.
Honestly, though, if it wasn't on there, I would have given it because of the way it latched on to Chris and myself. I would have gave it to Ball X Pit.
I was kind of wondering if it would go that way just because you played it so much.
Ball X Pit was just like, when I tried to describe it to people, I'm like, it's Vampire Survivors meets ActRaiser meets Arkanoid, and it's just, I don't know, it was just so much fun to play. And Christian can tell you I went ham on that, making my town. But
it's on my list of ones I want to try.
Unfortunately, when you got the big E33 on there, that's just gonna override everything else.
Oh, Jason's just rolling them eyes. Chris, what about you?
It was a tough choice because, as Steve mentioned, Ball X Pit pretty much took over our lives for a little bit. But I'd probably have to go with Absolem because it is, again, one of those games that just gives you a little bit of everything. Art, story, lore, and it doesn't hand you victory. As a beat-em-up roguelike, which is not the first time I've seen that, but probably the best way I've seen it done. It is phenomenal in what it does.
Nice. I've got a question for you guys then. I think out of all the categories we've seen so far, the grouping under best independent game, I think everybody actually fits belonging in it. Like, we don't have any weird outliers as far as I can tell. Do you guys kind of agree with that?
Yeah, 1000% agree. They all belong to be there.
Right. For
and
once.
Only one deserves the win. Okay.
Yeah, it's a difference on like what you feel winning, but like I don't think any of us would disagree that like they all at least belong here for one.
Overall, though, like I would guess in at least people who like are playing a lot of the titles on this is one of the hardest choices.
I would agree with that. Because
Yeah.
there's basically like any of these games, if they won, like even if Clair Obscure won, like I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, it didn't deserve it. Like I think there's no game on this list that if it won, you'd be like, why the fuck did that win?
Either hidden gems. They were like amazing out of the box. They were talked about all over the place, streamed like heavily, or they were highly requested, like the last two on this list, because people like couldn't wait until the sequels.
Yeah, I mean, 4 out of the 6 I have personally actually played. The only ones I have not played is Ball X Pit and Absolem. Ball X Pit, I've heard a bunch of that from you over different episodes, which has really gotten me interested to pick it up eventually. So Absolem is the only one that I don't know as much about. But, once again, I hear good things about it, so yeah.
I've played all but the last two. The last two I'm waiting
Hades
to
2 is
get
so
the
good.
physicals of.
Yeah, Hades 2, I picked that up the day it came out for Switch 2, and it's a really good version of it.
Yeah, this is one of those, in the past, this has been quite a contentious, I think, category, just because it's what you'd consider indie or not in the past. Yeah. And so, like you said with Dave the Diver, like, why is Dave the Diver on there when that doesn't seem like it's independent? So
it felt kind of like they were acting like they were, like it was a larger company that kind of made a little what they called indie part, but they were funded by the bigger one. Not to say it's a bad game or anything. It's a good game. It just didn't belong in this category, I felt. But that was just me. All right. Our next up here is Best Community Support, which we had Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. So, Chris, we'll start off with that one for you.
Let me find it again. Hang on. The vote card is confusing.
Yeah, no kidding.
It goes from left to right.
Yeah, I can't say much. I got mixed up I had my answers backwards on the previous one, so I can't say anything.
This was community support.
Correct.
I gave it back to Baldur's Gate 3, if only because they've been good with mods. The programmers and the actors are all really good with their community.
Mhm.
So, to me, it's still up there.
Okay. I went with Baldur's Gate 3 as well. Not so much of like the support and things from them, but when it was saying community support, I was looking at what the community was putting into it. And people have run with Baldur's Gate 3, making stories and characters and all kinds of things, as kind of a version of D&D, basically, is what it's intended to. And you see a lot of that going on. So it feels like you've got this huge community using this as a tool to make more. So, Stephen, what about you?
I went with no.
I was like, it's not even on here.
I went with Fortnite because I don't think there's anybody who has. It's the Smash Brothers of shooters right now. Like it's getting everybody who you never thought would be in a game together.
Yeah.
In terms of its support, so it seems like it's even listening to the community at times. And the biggest thing that made me pick that over everything else was they recently did a Daft Punk appreciation concert, and you did not have to play any kind of shooting whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
All you had to do is just go to that world, and you listened to like a DJ just mix all the songs together, and it was fantastic. And you could just jump around and do emotes, and it was just something to experience their music again. So it was kind of like going to the Sphere without paying the money. So I was just like, that's nice, because then there's people who like don't want to do the shooter or something like that. And the fact that when you start that game up, there's just like, I don't know, like 100 different modes you can play. So even if you like Among Us, there's a mode for that. If you like this game, there's a mode for that. I just feel like because of the amount of mods that they just list from the get-go when you start it up, like they're unmatched right now.
Yeah, I'll have to talk about it at the end. I think we were looking at this a little bit differently, but Chase, what about you? What was your response on this?
So this one was a tough one for me because I didn't necessarily. I was kind of leaning Baldur's Gate 3 because of like the mods and the things like that and whatnot, and then I didn't really know. Helldivers 2 was never going to be in it for me because like every time that the poor Arrowhead Studios, anytime something gets decided that they don't necessarily want to do, then the community just turns on them. So I'm like, it definitely doesn't get that for me. The game's been review bombed more times than like I've like
they've review bombed that game more than we've bombed the planets.
Yeah. Poor
Chase
game
has bombed his teammates.
Yeah, that's bad. Anyway, I ended up going with Final Fantasy 14 just because I didn't necessarily know who to pick. Like, I mean, I'm assuming it's a strong
community.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm assuming it's got a strong community support. Is the damn thing still around? It's the only MMO that survived outside of WoW. So, well, Elder Scrolls Online, I guess now is the newest.
Not even just survived; it's thrived.
Yeah, because it used to be. Yeah, because for a while there it was like WoW, Final Fantasy 14 or bust. Like anybody else trying to make an MMO just failed. Typically,
yeah. I remember a lot of the ones that failed.
Yeah.
Or they're limping along on life support, like Star Trek Online and stuff. So for this one, I think I went into it. I'm kind of curious with you guys on the understanding of it. When I read best community support, I was reading more of the actual community kind of supporting the game, not the other way of the people supporting their community. That's part of why I went with Baldur's Gate 3, because the community was building up so much of that game. And I could also see Fortnite being a legitimate one for that, because so many people make their maps and do different things. And I think that's when I was understanding that I was looking at it differently when you were explaining yours, Steven. And you were like, they did these events and this. And I'm like, the fans didn't do that. Epic did. Oh, no, I see what I did here. So,
well, the fans did all the created games too, though.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they're still they still fit for that. There's a lot of the stuff they do, definitely.
Like I didn't personally pick Baldur's Gate 3 because they ended support. So.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was a difference on how I was viewing the question, I guess. Chris, I'm kind of curious your thoughts on this one, how you were understanding that as well. And
it was a little of both, honestly, because a game company and a game itself is nothing without its community. So I was just seeing personally how the basically how it all worked as a whole. The
Right.
programmers, the actors. When I think of a games community, I think of everybody. So, and I have
Fair.
never seen a game
Yeah.
that has brought a community of developers, fans, players, and actors together like Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice. So yeah, I kind of enjoy the fact of how, we come up with our answers, but all of us are looking at it just a little bit differently because it's not so clear cut on some of these categories because they have weird fucking categories. Sometimes like so unclear. So, all right. So, along with their ongoing issues, let's talk about the best ongoing title. From this one, we have Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. And in this one, for best ongoing, support, I think is what it's supposed to be. I picked No Man's Sky because that game just, I can't tell you at this point, I've lost track of how many updates and expansions and everything they've done without charging a dime. If you bought the game at any point, be it launch on PlayStation 4 or on the Xbox or on the Switch or on PC, they've given you everything from that point that they could. Like the Switch only could go so far, but even it was continuing to still get some updates on its own. But then they did the Switch 2 update, which has now made it like my favorite way to play the game now with all the compatibility and multiplayer. And like they took what people were calling, one of the worst releases, like just chiding them for everything that had happened because I still think Sony kind of oversold it and they couldn't keep up with what was being promised and have turned that around. So they're at some point they'd be like, you guys can do something else. Like I will understand when you stop. And they're just like, no, we're gonna keep going. Like, I don't know when their next game's coming out, but I know this one's probably still be supported. Chase, what about you? What's your pick for this one?
So I went with, it was a tough one for me because obviously Final Fantasy 14 fits this as well. Fortnite clearly fits this as well with all the stuff that Spawn was talking about. But I ended up going Marvel Rivals.
Okay.
Because I believe that the amount of, like fixes and updates and the things that they're pushing, new characters, all that stuff, I think they're actually like doing good job.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I think they're, but like this is another one that I wouldn't be upset if another one won, to actually be fair.
Yeah, I think this is another category that's pretty well, everyone kind of deserves to be here for this one. Steven, what about you?
I'm gonna go with here Marvel Rivals because
Okay.
in just a year's time, the amount of costumes, the amount of modes, the amount of special events that they've unveiled, and the fact that their battle pass from the very first one to the last one is always available. So there is no FOMO. It is just play if you want it. If you want those costumes, it's not limited to a certain number of days in terms of getting the character costumes you want. And I'll refrain from saying the title, but there is one title on here that does not deserve to win at all. But anyway, Marvel Rivals.
I name it because I want you to explain why you think it wouldn't even deserve to be here for support of that kind of game.
Because it's not best ongoing support. It's not for best patches to an existing game. They're not adding anything. They're just saying, "Oh, we forgot to put this in." So
not adding anything? Are you serious?
It all blends together. It's like adding paint to a Bob Ross painting. It's just like you're either ruining it or you're making it look the same.
Every time they've done an expansion, it's been a whole new set of things you can do, expanding the world. Anyways, I knew that.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is over.
And well,
fuck Steven. Chris, what about you? He keeps muting himself.
I agree with everything he said.
Yeah, I agree with everything he said until we can hear him.
All right. Well, I picked Final Fantasy, if only because they keep adding story. They
Mhm.
keep bringing nostalgic about it. They cater to old fans and new, and I think that's one of the good ways to make a game ongoing.
Okay. All right. So let's go on to our next little one here then. So the next category is best performance, which we had this one felt kind of weighted in one direction, but we had Ben Starr
What
for
are you
Claire
talking
Obscure
about? That's
Expedition
impossible.
33, Charlie Cox from Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Erika Aishi from Ghost of Yutai, Jennifer English, also from Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Kanatsu Kato from Silent Hill F, and Troy Baker from Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Chris, which way did you go for this one?
I rolled a die and I got Charlie Cox.
Okay.
Whoa!
I still think it's kind of weighted weirdly to have 3 from a single game, which cuts out so many other titles that had other people. Like, pick your best and have that represented, because they could have gotten to the point of having the entire cast just be the list and everyone else get cut out. It feels kind of weird to me. I went with Erika Aishi for this one because I haven't got a chance to play much of Ghost of Yutei, but the things I've seen, I've always enjoyed her voice work for a lot of stuff, and then actually hearing the clips and roll like of what she's done in the game, I really enjoyed. It was between that and I almost went with Troy Baker just because you think that is Harrison Ford so many times, but I think Erica's performance in that has been done really well, and she had so much more backlash from people about it just for doing her role as she did it. Chase, what about you? What's your call on this one?
I picked Troy Baker
Nice.
for Indiana Jones because I thought he did an amazing Indiana Jones, and I Erika Aishi was probably the other one that I would have went towards. The only reason I didn't pick her, and
Mhm.
this is potentially to no fault of her own, so I do want to make that clear.
Okay.
But just the and this is probably a discussion for a later date around Ghost of Yotei anyway, but I
Okay.
felt as though the character that she played and the some of the things that the character does in that game and whatnot, which again, this is probably more of a writing issue than an acting issue, so I fully accept that. I don't want people to
Okay.
think I don't, and I'm putting it all on her. But it's just like her character is kind of a bit weird, and like the way that her character like does some things and thinks and acts and stuff, and it's just like I don't know. So maybe that's just me being a little bit weird. But I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is still a great game. Don't get me wrong. I
I'm gonna
beat
say
the
I think you still recommended me to play it, so I
yeah,
wasn't.
absolutely. So like
Yeah.
it's not like this is once you play it, then I can actually like probably talk about it a little bit more and actually expound on what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I'm being cryptic because I don't want to spoil anything.
I appreciate that, but I also think I understand kind of what you're going for in that thought process.
Yeah, and so yeah, I ended up going with Troy Baker because I think he deserved it most definitely. And I completely agree with what you said. Why the fuck is there 3 people from the same game on this fucking like award? That's bullshit. You've just cut out like 2 other games just
What are you
because
gonna put
like
in there? Do you have a spot? What are you gonna fill it with?
I'm sure that there could be somebody else other than like don't give me that BS one just because you're on the Claire
You
Obscure
gotta
tit.
put the voice of Shinobi, which was the voice of Daytona USA. All he did was grunt. That's a good performance, right?
So yeah, that was such BS. I think personally, it should have been one character. Pick your best. Exactly what Jeremy said.
I think what Steve says is part of the problem, though. We would probably not know that so many of these actors were in Expedition 33 unless it was brought up. Part of the problem with voice acting is that you don't know who these guys are until people say. So I think more of these games should just have one guy or girl say, "This is from this."
There was
On
more
the
people mad that Andy Serkis wasn't in it.
I'm more surprised by the fact that this is one of the listings that our little beach game Death Stranding 2 is not part of, because that had such a large voice cast of different people. It alone by that same thought could have taken over this whole list and just been different people from that whole game.
And I think that's what happened last year with Last of Us 2.
Gotcha. I just it
don't like
kind of
that
depends
either,
on the
but-
rule of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just it's just my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. But like, I just think I don't think like voice actors from one game should dominate a award like that. Personally,
Yeah, they might as well. They should have just had a new category of best Claire Obscure 33 voice actor. Just
or just
That would,
yeah,
that would be hard. Don't do that.
yeah.
No way.
When you get to that point where you're almost overtaking the entire category, just get your own category. Just
Right.
go from there. Let people vote on that, and then take the winner and have them go to the other one. Like,
And
make it
the
a
award
rank-
for best Claire Obscure game is Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Right.
Oh man. So we know what category this will be in, but we want to know which one you chose, Stephen. Quit doing the crypt hands.
So, I will say two of these choices, because I'm only picking from three. The other ones are dead to me.
Jesus.
I'll be picking from this three. Two of them already won an award for best actor and best supporting, which that's how I think some of this should have been, because you have a major player in some of these and you
Right.
have other characters.
Mhm.
So, I agree with Charlie Cox saying the motion capture guy should have been nominated, because he's just like, he did much harder work than he did. Jennifer English is very close, but because this guy is the new Yuri Lowenthal, but he's got a better range than Yuri Lowenthal, I went with Ben Starr, because he's not only has he been in this game, he's also in Kazan as the main character, a Dark Souls like and stuff like that. He's just in everything. You just have to find him. But I think his deepest performance was in this game, so I went with him.
Nice. Okay. So at least that kind of breaks it down. So I think you would have been fine with a particular person, kind of, because you kind of worked out the other two from the list, and it could have been somebody else on there and kind of gone with that one as the option. Maybe. I know that would have been hard to pick out, but
I think especially Jeff Keighley, since you got rid of one of your awards, because like you said, it's your show and you can change what you want. I think he should start adding stuff for supporting, because sometimes you might have a great actor, but maybe the antagonist is amazing, and you can't have two favorites. You have only one favorite child. It's just like you only have one best performance. So.
yeah, I agree with that. Like, there's been like some of the Arkham games over the years. Like, I absolutely would always give it to usually Batman, Kevin Conroy, for his voice acting in that. But you had other side characters that were so well voiced,
and there was
and
years
they were
that
just
they
kind
put
of
Kevin Conroy versus Mark Hamill, and I'm like, what are you doing?
No, that's oh god, don't put me in that argument.
Then it just comes down to who can make it out to your studio to accept the awards. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's one of the impossible questions, I think, would come down to it. All right. So this next one, we talked about a little bit of how we kind of separated it, but we had best audio design, so this will be kind of like environmental sounds, sound effects, things like that for during gameplay and where you're at, which they had Battlefield 6, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, and Silent Hill F. So, Stephen, we'll start with you on that one.
My answer will be a little obscure, but not really. It's still Expedition 33.
Shocking.
Taking it home. If the up the butt Death Stranding 2 gets this, they can go jump off a cliff. That's the only one I do not want to see win.
Mm-hmm.
I will gladly take Chase's approach, saying I wouldn't be mad with any other than Up the Butt winning the best audio design, but it's going to be Expedition 33. Who are we kidding?
That's funny. Chase, what about you?
I picked Ghost of Yotei. the sounds of like the wind, because you obviously use the wind to like tell you like where you need to go by swiping up on the trackpad. The sounds of the wind, the sound of when it goes through the grass, like the tall grass, the sound of your horse when it's galloping through the grass. When you're near something, they use birds as an indicator that you're near something. So like a gold bird shows up, and like the sound of the birds, I think it's a very beautifully well done game. So both it and the music. The music's obviously for a different one, but like the sound design, I think, is next level. It's the attention to detail that I think Swan mentioned earlier. That's you expect from Sucker Punch with this game.
Nice. Chris, what about you?
I'd probably have to go with Clair Obscur for this one, if only because the audio design is so important when it comes to dodging and parrying. You have to watch the animation, but you also have the cues in the sound design itself. So if you screw up, you have 2 ways to stop yourself from getting flattened. So audio design is very important in that game.
Nice. For myself, I actually went with Battlefield 6, simply because from what I've played of it, from the beta, some of the later stuff I've played with some other people, like they did such a good job with that environmental details of every little thing, be it just hearing rocks crumbling as buildings are destroyed, bullets whizzing past, vehicles in the distance. Like you could rely on what you could hear so well to tell if people were moving in from one direction or kind of telling a story around you. uh, Shooters may not be the best thing for a lot of people, but they put a lot of work into that audio, and it really showed off because it made you feel more in that environment, in a 3D space than a lot of other titles usually do. So yeah, it impressed me to the point I was like, no, I'm going to give it to that one just because of that. So, all right. And then the other side of this, which was the best score in music, this one being for obviously the audio that you're hearing, things like that as you go along. We had Christopher Larkin for Hollow Knight Silksong, Darren Korb for Hades 2, Lorien Testard for Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Toma Ottawa for Ghost of Yotei, and Woodkid and Ludwig Forsell as Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Chris, you want to start us off on that one?
I went with Darren Korb just because I've always enjoyed Hades' music, and it seems to be just as much a reprise as it is something new. So it mixed things up pretty well, but you still feel like it's a game you're coming back to.
Nice. Chase, what about you?
Well, Mechanicus is on this list, so I couldn't pick that. But otherwise I would have.
Second one's not out yet. Next year.
Yeah. But this one was a tough one for me because it was both tough and not tough, because the problem is I haven't played any of the other games on this list, so it's like I don't really know their music, so I had to pick Ghost of Yotei, which the music is good in that, like, because you actually play like a traditional Japanese instrument as part of like the game mechanics in that game. So I went with Ghost of Yotei just off the bias that it's the only one I've kind of played, so it's the only music I know. I need to play the other ones, so
Yes, you do.
no, not that one. Shut up.
Except for one of them on this list. One of them on this list has about as much.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's
I'll
two of them on this list I don't need to play actually.
Yeah, so for me, I did end up going with Ghost of Yotei because I have heard some of the tracks from it and everything, and I really enjoyed listening to that. And I had seen part of it where you could play the instruments as the mechanic, like you were talking about. A lot of these, though, it wasn't kind of a tougher decision because I have enjoyed the audio or the music for a bunch of them, but not quite in context of the game. So it was kind of hard to pick one. I wasn't going to go with Death Stranding 2 because I have not heard much of the music from it. Just to be fair, it could be great
Death Stranding
music.
2 had music.
Well, I mean, yeah, it could, and I'm not going to go one way or the other on it because I haven't had a chance to listen to a lot of it. But for most part, this is another one that has got a good selection where if you listen to any of these, you're going to enjoy it. I think they're good at setting up their environments and your gameplay and everything. And we joked about Death Stranding 2 not having music, but like even for the first one, when you mess with it, when it does have music, it would at least be in places for the story and kind of fit, because I don't think you have to have music at all times. like Metroid Prime 4's Desert. Calm down, people. So
That should be nominated next year.
I'm very curious. Like we'll have to talk about it later. Like what other games are not on here that have come out that we think should be in here, because I think Prime 4 fits in a lot of these for me.
Can you imagine next year it says best score in music, Metroid Prime 4 Amiibo?
Oh God, I know it's hard to pick out clips, but damn it, that needs to be one. That's remind me later to get that one. All right, so Stephen, what's your choice?
I wonder what we'll have as a choice here. Anyway, but to be serious, a lot of this for me was based on layers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Death Stranding on the ass can have as much layers as parchment paper. So I'm not even going to consider that. But while I can see the nomination for Ghost of Yotei, honestly, because of the instruments and the attention to detail, like I said before, Claire Obscure hit differently because I not only myself but seeing other streamers react to musical changes that it either hit them emotionally, or it just came out of the blue and surprised them. And for me, looking into it, when I say layers, the fact that you can listen to it and then if you actually know the language it's singing in,
Mm-hmm.
the story it's telling while you're having a boss battle and it's telling you the backstory of the boss is insane in terms of layers for me that I haven't gotten in a game since I don't know when. So that's why predictably I gave it to Expedition 33.
That's fair enough. I mean, we joke about how often you're picking them, but at least you have like you can explain the reasons for it. And
Plus, they found the guy on SoundCloud, and now he's a god.
that's amazing.
If I had to rank this and how hard Flute Guy is going to play these, I would give it to either Silk Song or Ghost of Yotei.
I forgot
He's
about
going to be
Flute
sitting
Guy.
down for dead sitting. So
Oh, that's great. I forgot all about Flute Guy.
he said they confirmed he's back, so I'm excited.
Why isn't he one of the votes?
I don't know.
I nominate Flute Guy.
There you go.
Add him to Expedition 33, Expedition 34. Okay.
All right. So our next one here is Best Art Direction. This is one of the ones that there was not a difficult choice for me on this. I just went straight to it. But
Same.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. And for me, just from a pure art direction and just the animation and just how beautiful this game has been from when I saw it in previews, the time I've actually got to play it, I went with Hades 2. Because that game is just absolutely gorgeous with little details everywhere while you're playing it, which I've greatly enjoyed. Chris, what about you? What's your thoughts on this or your choice?
It was a tough one because they're all very beautiful games,
Mhm.
but in terms of theming and in terms of really feeling like a world you've never been to before, I'd have to give it to Claire Obscure. Just because
Fair.
when you find out why the world looks the way it does, it adds so much more. And even if you don't find out, I think it's one of the more creatively made games in terms of world. You know, we've got so many sci-fi things, so many undead things. Claire Obscure really feels like its own thing, and I think that's part of why I picked it.
Okay. Steven? We'll just go ahead and say Claire Obscure and move on. Go ahead.
He's right. But again, the reasoning
Yeah.
similar to what Chris said is the game basically has a paintress in it.
Right.
And if you look between the lines, this is not spoiler territory, but if you look between the lines, most of the terminology and in all of the game is all art oriented, so they already have the edge, so to speak. But beyond that, and Chris, if you want to back me up on this, the when the bosses, when you're first facing a major boss, the presentation they give you of some of their attacks is just like you haven't seen that since like Final Fantasy VII, so it's appreciated to see like kind of the majesty when you're of how big this fight is going to be by what they're doing.
That's true. They'd have a lot of, as Megamind would say, presentation, and it shows even the beginning, the middle, and sometimes the end of the fight. It really all feels, I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but it feels well directed. So,
Fair enough. I mean, Clair Obscur was one that I did consider. Yeah, it came down to the actual art style of it for that one. But Chase, what about you?
I picked Death Stranding too. No, I I actually, it was a toss up. And it was a toss up between Hollow Knight and Ghost of Yotei, and just because I obviously haven't played Hollow Knight Silk Song, like, you know, for a large amount of time, I picked Ghost of Yotei, which that's a beautiful looking game. It's absolutely stunning. So, like, you know, it speaks for itself. The first game was gorgeous. This game doesn't disappoint in any regard.
Nice. I think this is one of the few that even Death Stranding 2, I'll be like, yeah, it probably does belong here. Because even if the story or mechanics are not what you're liking, like, you got to admit their character design and some of that stuff is really interesting and kind of works better for me in those smaller bites of seeing what they're doing in that creative world. So yeah, I mean, it's a good set of titles to have this one. And once again, I'm enjoying the debate and back and forth and the difference in our picks, except for Steven, who's always going to pick Clair Obscur.
He's gone all in. He's jumped in the truck. He's driven it down the highway. Like,
right.
He's blasted through the gate. There's just no stopping him.
I've bought out the stock of all the Kool-Aid.
Fair enough. Oh man, that's funny. All right, so next up we have Best Narrative, which we've got Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. So Chase, what about you? What was your choice for Best Narrative?
There's only one clear winner. It's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I saw that look, like looking over going, please don't hurt me. I said what you wanted me to.
No, I mean,
I'm just waiting for her to like throw like a thumbs up off to the side or something.
She heard me. She went like this. But anyway, so the reason why I picked that is because obviously it does have a really good story. The story ties in with the first game, so you do kind of need to play the first game, but it's an ongoing story. And actually, like, I did kind of find myself, like, when she'd be playing, like, obviously because I'm not around the whole time, but like sometimes being like, oh, what happened to like get to this point, or like what happened that you're like here now, and then she would like explain it to me, like what was going on. And so yeah, I actually think overall that the that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does have a really good narrative, really good storyline. This is one that I definitely wouldn't pick Ghost of Yotei for. This is yeah, discussion for a later date, obviously, but this is where I think the game does kind of fall flat a little bit.
Okay.
Is where I'd make my argument on it against it if I had to make one. But yeah, so that's covers it for me.
That's fair. Chris, what about you?
in my case, I'd probably go with Clair Obscur again, if only because there are times when you just know you're going to follow a game through to the end. And there is a moment in Clair Obscur where something huge happens, something absolutely insane. And then you think, all right, I can't stop until I know why that happened. And it's that kind of game. It's perfect for a role-playing game because it has that TTRPG hook where something absolutely huge happens. You have no idea why, but you know if you see this through to the end, it will make sense. And it did.
Okay. I'm kind of wondering if that's the Arrival on the Island. I don't know. I haven't finished it. I'm just kind of wondering.
I'm not saying anything.
Right.
For one thing, it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay, gotcha.
you know, in my case, there was just a moment where you saw something happen
Hmm.
and you just went, I need to know why, and I need to know if it happens again, and if it happens again, can I stop it? And if it doesn't happen again, can I cause it?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
Um, Stephen, formalities. We'll just go ahead and go with yours.
There's only one game that deserves this, and it's Claire Obscure Expedition 33. But I will have reasoning behind why I keep picking it.
Yeah, I know.
Is,
I just like giving you a hard
is
time about
because
it.
in this aspect, there are people who said the third act was the weakest part of this game of the year. Spoilers. Um, to my next, to my upcoming guess vote, but the fact that the third act could be its own big question or be its own extra quarter, unlike these other games, is huge to me. I think the other one, I get more story out of my USPS tracking notifications than I would out of the game itself.
Jesus.
We all know what we're talking about. Um, but watching a playthrough of Silent Hill F, though, if Expedition wasn't on here, I would have given it to Silent Hill F because that and I'm sorry, Mr. Italian developer, that I don't remember your name, but um this is how you should do something like horses. This is how you should present it. There's a lot of freaky shit in Silent Hill F.
Hmm.
It is a new direction for Silent Hill, but it's somehow the narrative still stays with the Silent Hill theme
Okay.
while making it its own. So I thought it was powerful enough to be up there, and I'm glad Split Fiction wasn't on here. So because it'd be like, why are you here? But yeah, it's Expedition 33. But if it wasn't, then I would hope Silent Hill F gets it.
Yeah, I find it kind of interesting. Like that's the first mention we've really had. Like it's shown up a little bit before, but of Silent Hill F really hasn't been talked about that much, which I've been kind of surprised because like my oldest got a hold of it and was playing it, but never really heard anything about whether they were enjoying it or what was going on with it. So it just kind of felt like it dropped off. But in regards to the narrative, I haven't finished it yet, but what I have played of Expedition 33 surprised the hell out of me. Um, I enjoyed the world. Like the opening was kind of quiet and explorative and kind of seeing how their world was built, and I like the narrative of it and the idea of every year people just kind of disappearing with that was an intriguing idea. I mean, it's similar to some things kind of thematically that we've seen in the past, but done in a different way with this counting down and kind of every year. Because we've seen science fiction in the past where it's like you get to a certain age, you die off or you're, expelled or something where that time limit is a mechanic. Um, but then, when we were playing it and I was like, oh, this is sweet. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, we're going to start the expedition. And then you arrive on the island and holy fuck. I was like, what is happening? And what I have played of it, I did really enjoy the story. And I think it was just, I didn't have time to play it for a while and kind of got out of it. I would be 100% down. Like, Chase, I know it's not a game you're big into, but if I finished it and we did end up having an extra quarter about it, if it ended up just being me, Chris, and Steven, we could figure something out. Don't worry, Chase. I still want to do the Warhammer one. I just need you to help set that up. Um, and, but yeah, the story and the narrative for it, that's one thing I do truly think they have done a really good job on and deserve to get that nomination or win for that. So I will agree with you on this one, Steven and Chris. Go ahead.
I will add, and Chris, this is probably one of the few times you'll ever hear me say this, ever. But Expedition 33 is the diamond in the rough for me of games where I would honestly benefit a lot from playing New Game Plus because of the narrative.
Oh shit, he has gone beyond the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Holy shit.
because
Are we sure that there's not somebody holding a gun to his head, like actually from the development team off camera?
this game, once you are ready for New Game Plus, you have a whole new understanding of the narrative that you didn't have before. So it almost becomes like an actual new Game Plus, not just you're the same guy with beefed up stats. No,
That kind of reminds me of like some movies I've always really enjoyed that you watch them the first time to get through the whole story and the twist and everything, and then when you watch it a second time, it is like watching a whole new movie because you have that new understanding and you see
exactly.
so
That's
much
exactly
more.
what I mean.
Yeah, that's kind of what. That's just what my brain kind of connects it with whenever somebody mentions
Like
something
once
like that.
everything connects, you're just like, wait a minute, so that means all that stuff back then, and then you start seeing people dissecting the whole game, and you're just like, holy crap, I need to play New Game Plus just to see it again myself.
I'm
But
kind
it
of
is the
scared of this
only game where New Game Plus means anything. The rest of them can fuck off. Anyway,
Oh, there's the Steven we all know.
yeah. I hate mechs. Okay.
He's back.
Yeah.
Snap out of it.
Let me start mentioning shit I love and he'll hate it. Oh man. All right. So next we have best game direction. Which this was kind of an interesting one to have, but we had Clair Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghosts of Yotei, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. Steven, you want to start us off?
What do we pick?
Hey,
Yeah, I know.
hey, Split Fiction. What the fuck are you doing here? That you took a spot away from Kingdom Come Deliverance and Silent Hill F.
Yeah.
That you're just it is a good formula, but it is the same formula as the other two games.
Yeah.
So cut it out. It's the same game direction because we're not talking about narrative, story, action, anything like that. We're just talking about game direction. It is the same game direction. So I just needed to point that out. But otherwise, we know this goes to Expedition 33 because unfortunately for Chase, there is no Kingdom Come Deliverance on this one.
This is when Joseph R is going to announce his new game. That's why they got a spot on here.
Probably.
That's legit. Yeah, I can see that. Chase,
and unless they change this one to best game with Kojima mentioned in the credits, it should go to Expedition 33.
Yeah. Chase, what about you? What's your thoughts on this one?
So, to everybody's surprise, because I want to try to at least be semi-objective. This is where I gave Clair Obscure a dub.
Woo!
Oh shit! I also voted for Clair Obscure Expedition 33 for this one.
Bring us home, Chris.
I'm gonna say, do we actually have a full consensus for once? Chris, what is your thoughts?
Death Stranding.
That would be amazing if I believed him.
Legit.
If he was legit, that would be. I wouldn't even be mad. Actually,
He just described his living situation from this point on. He's gonna be left stranding 2 on the bus.
I for obvious reasons that we have already gone through
multiple times.
I picked Clair Obscure because for its type, the direction was phenomenal. The one thing that I would give against the game direction, and this is something that you really have to squint to see, but once you do see it, it never goes away. None of the characters have any expressions in combat.
They don't, yeah.
And it's weird.
But there's so much going on, you'd have to really focus on that. But yeah, I get
exactly.
In later parts of the game, they have moves that do like almost like a Marvel freeze frame, and that's when it becomes most apparent that you're like, oh. then you need the soundbite of Jeremy going, oh.
It's not the best one. I've done better, but I need to add that one back in here.
But aside from that, it is very well done.
Okay, so is this the first one we've had full consensus on?
It's the only one, probably. It ain't gonna happen with the next one.
Probably not. On a complete side note, though, Steven, I just saw part of your shirt. That is great. I love that. That's a good Metroid. Yeah, that's a good Metroid shirt. All right, so let's go to the final part of this game of the year, which it's just a pretty good mix of games. There's some that I question being here, others I think should be here, but sadly don't have a chance. We've got Clair Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So, Chris, let's start with you on this one for Game of the Year pick.
Metaphor, but I suppose since it's not
That
on
was
the
last
list,
year.
I don't care. It could get it again.
Yeah, he
but
wants
aside
new
from
award
that,
plus for that one.
it's
There's
exactly.
no DLC for it even.
So Metaphor, Persona 5, or I guess Clair Obscure.
Oh god, that would be pretty funny if they had like a new award plus category. It's like last year's picks, but they get to win again.
Then it would just be the Kojima Awards.
Yeah, no shit. All right, so you
But
picked
yes,
Clair Obscure.
Clair
I think?
Obscure.
Yep.
Also, as an aside, I would pick for Best Kojima Award, I'd pick Snatcher.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I haven't said anything now that I won't say before. So yes, Game of the Year.
For me, I did pick Clair Obscure Expedition 33, just because it is. I think out of a lot of these, like I loved Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I think that's got a better chance as more of like a family game or even an action, which I'm surprised it wasn't part of that. But I don't think it would have the ability to kind of take Game of the Year for a lot of this. There'd just be too many people voting against it. Clair Obscure, I think, will have the numbers in regards to that. And if I'm picking a favorite Kojima game, it would probably be Metal Gear Solid from the original PlayStation. Steven, what about you? What's your pick?
Well, I guess for best use of Kojima of the year would be Zootopia 2. But Game of the Year is weird because I think somebody got paid to kick Ghost of Yotei off of this one for Donkey Kong Bonanza. So Donkey Kong Bonanza gets the Split Fiction Award for "What are you doing here? You don't belong here."
I think they just. I feel like they just feel like they have to have a Nintendo title in Game of the Year like every year. Because there's always one. I don't know.
I mean, there's been some good Nintendo games, but even I will admit, I don't think any of them are Game of the Year award level.
If I had to go with word of mouth for all these games, I would exclude Donkey Kong Bonanza and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because the amount of people talking about Hollow Knight Silk Song is unworldly. Every presentation that was shown, when's it coming out, and it finally came out. It was good. It was great. People are still playing it now. Hades 2, again, another thing where people are just like, it looks better and better. It looks like they've done it again. I don't know what that second game is. It's just like, I don't know, UPS, the sequel or whatever. Well, I think it'll get that just in case if he's appearing or if he's going to show off his game that's in development for 2037, whatever. Or he wants to film a real ghost. But I think, again, it should go to Expedition 33. Like, take that fairy tale story home. Only because since you kicked out the only other thing that would have even come close to it is gone. I think it's the only logical choice now.
Okay. Chase, yeah, you're the final one on this one. So what's your vote for Game of the Year and your
He's
thoughts
gonna
on
break
these?
the beer frame. What's he gonna do?
Hey, pick what he wants, man. That's the beauty of it.
All right, so well, first off, since we're doing honorary mention, I guess best Kojima game, I'm gonna go with Metal Gear Solid 3. Although Metal
What
Gear
have I done?
Solid, Metal Gear
You've
Solid
made an ongoing
was,
joke, all right?
Metal Gear Solid was up there for me, so it was a fight between those two, but I did Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, it's a back and forth, but one was the one that got me.
Yeah, I don't need to give mine because Chris already gave mine.
Yeah,
but-
we know yours is Snatcher.
But
I am never doing that again.
Hold on, which version of Snatcher?
all of them.
doesn't matter. Just he wants all of them.
Did you have best Snatcher award? Yes. Okay.
I'd snatch that. Yeah.
Even the PlayStation music with With the really terrible jazz ensemble.
Yeah,
It's Snatcher,
because
bro.
it's so because it's so horrible, it's memorable.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because it's like if Bob Ross just like hobbled into the studio and he's like, "Yeah, I'll make some music."
Carry on, Chase. Sorry about that.
No, this is great. I love this.
Yes, Chris, for what you have wrought.
So I thought it was a little surprising that I thought it was a bit surprising that Ghost of Yotei wasn't on this list.
I kind of am too.
I probably wouldn't have voted for it necessarily if it was, but I kind of thought, I had a theory back before they announced the nominees that Ghost of Yotei was going to be on Game of the Year, and if it was on Game of the Year, it was going to win, because I don't know if people remember, but Ghost of Tsushima lost to Last of Us. Was it Last of Us or Last of Us 2 Remastered?
Oh, that's just wrong.
So I thought that they were going to maybe be like, oh yeah, we're sorry about that, guys. And they were maybe going to like try to do this as like the apology tour for them, so to speak. But obviously not.
Nope.
It's not even on the list. I was like, okay. Wow, I was completely off on that one.
Yeah, it wasn't even on there.
They got ghosted.
Yeah, they did. So I picked Hollow Knight.
Okay.
That was where I cast my vote, because obviously, like Swan said, if you go by word of mouth, like I had a coworker who was literally holding out for this game. Like I would hear about it like all the time that he was at work. Like he's just holding out for it. Like,
well, I mean, how many times we would talk about like, oh, there's a new event coming up. Is Hollow Knight going to be mentioned, or a new direct? Or I mean, we would talk about it so much.
yeah.
And then when it finally was announced, we're like, why is it at an Xbox event? Why is it like, what the hell? So yeah, it kept that word of mouth for a while. And I think, while I haven't clicked with it completely, it has really been popular for a lot of the people playing it. So it's definitely done its job on that.
Got me to play the first one. I enjoy the first one a lot. So
They should have had a showdown between Hollow Knight Silksong and Metroid Prime 4 of longest wait for game to come out.
Right. And the award would end up going to Duke Nukem Forever.
Or GTA 6 at this point.
I think GTA 6 actually beat Duke Nukem.
Oh god.
So-
Well, when it comes out, it will.
Yeah, if it comes out.
Uh-oh.
I mean, who knows? We keep having all these RAM shortages. They may not be able to make their stuff with the computers.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, if that happens, there's going to be a riot.
There's going to be a RAM Theft Auto.
God damn it. It's terrible.
This is why I love this so much.
Yeah, it's the best. So, yeah, like I said, these were our discussions on who is nominated. We won't be covering who wins, because you can just go watch that and see it yourself. Half the fun, I agreed when we were talking about covering this, is just going over the list of who we think should be there, who shouldn't be, who's missing, why the hell is Kojima mentioned more than he should be for this? All this other stuff.
Why is Joseph Fares in Best Game Direction? Why is Split
Right.
Chicken
What
there?
new curse word is he going to use this time, or what threat is he going to put out there for his new
Or how
game?
drunk is he? Like,
That's a good point. Like, he was very drunk on that first one.
Yeah, if you're giving us questions, feel free to ask the question like, why didn't Expedition 33 win this one? And I'll answer it for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely a good one on that. All right, so let's run over to the speed run.
Thanks.
Yeah, starting off the speed run, a little sadder. We're going to have the passing of Hiroyuki Tagawa. He passed away at 75. This is the actor a lot of people mostly know played Shang Tsung on the Mortal Kombat back in 1995, and also ended up reprising that role in the more recent Mortal Kombat games, actually voicing and being the character model from his 1995 look in the game, which was great to have. And then I didn't find out until later, I had seen him previously all the way back in the first episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, because he was one of the guards for Q. I did not know that until way later. But I don't know. Do you guys have any favorite roles for him? Like he popped up in so many things. Like he had such a good history of stuff, even down to Big Trouble in Little China. I did not realize he's in that too. It's like an extra
Yeah,
character.
I think he's most quote worthy for Your Soul Is Mine.
100%.
And I've already heard he's already come back as another person. So long live.
Jeez. So he made corporate mergers cool before they were apparently popular because he just took everyone's souls and just absorbed them into himself. Yeah, my joke's bad too. All right. Next up, Running with Scissors has canceled Postal Bullet Paradise after an overwhelmingly negative response when the community found that the game was likely generated by AI. The company stated that they were publishing but not developing the title and canceled it because, quote, the strong feedback from them is that elements of the game are very likely AI generated and thus has caused extreme damage to our brand and our company reputation. They also stated their trust in the dev team at Goon Swarm Games is broken. Mind you, these are the guys that make the Postal series. They're already bad. Like, those games are terrible. Has anyone played the old Postals?
Who the fuck is Goon Swarm Games?
Yeah,
I
that's what
don't
I was gonna say.
know.
That is kind of an awesome name, personally,
Yeah.
but I never played any of the Postal games. I've only seen
But is it Goon Swarm or Goons Warm?
Either way,
either way.
yeah, their name sounds like it was AI generated shit. So yeah, because apparently these guys couldn't actually develop things; they just used AI to try and make things, and it was absolutely abysmal. So who knows?
When
Should have just made a sequel to the movie.
when the Postal people are saying that your game is shit, like you've
You fucked up.
you've
You
hit rock
truly
bottom.
fucked up. If there's ever an argument for AI being terrible at art, if you can't even make a bad Postal, you cannot make anything.
That's like you, Ball, saying that you made a bad video game movie. It's like, oh,
I think an Uwe Boll movie would be better than an AI movie.
yeah, we should have. I thought this was the sequel.
There you go. I'll stand by that. Next up, privately owned developer Yacht Club Games LLC, the makers of Shovel Knight and its many, many expansions and ports, is stating that the sales of their upcoming Mina the Hollower will be a make or break event for them, as if the title doesn't sell enough, they won't be able to remain independent or have to shut down. They've recently had to downsize some of their staff and shelve another game that they were working on to try and get Mina out as fast as possible, in the best shape possible. They said, quote, if we sold 500,000 copies, then we would be golden. If we sold even 200,000, that would be really, really great. But if we sold like 100,000, that's not so good. So, we've talked about Mina the Hollower, and I really want to play it. It's got a very good Link's Awakening vibe to it from the Game Boy Color. Yeah, the demo looked really neat. So I'm hoping it does well. I generally do enjoy Yacht Club's games. I know I was making the joke about they did so many ports and variants on Shovel Knight, but it has been fun at least. And I even have his amiibo over there. So we will see. And I think part of what people have to realize is not so much they're like, oh, you need to buy our game. It's important. These are actually a small, privately owned developer. So these sales really mean something to them in that regard. Go ahead, Steven.
I would like to mention that
Mhm.
part of this is because they've been putting a lot of time and effort into, and I don't know why, because they thought the next logical step would be, but they're trying to do Shovel Knight 3D. So they've been
Oh, I
putting a lot of
forgot about
development
that.
time into that.
I wonder if that's what got shelved.
It's still being worked on, according to them, because they're still going to go with it because they think Mina the Hollower has something. This is one of the few times where wish listing on Steam does make a difference.
Okay.
Wish lists don't mean jack really to anything else except for Steam. Apparently, it works with their algorithm better if it's wish listed because it gets put on lists that the other shops don't do. So it's always good to wish list something like that so it gets more visibility. The demo's on pretty much everything, so at least try it out, see if you like it. But other than that, it's your move, Nintendo. You know what to do.
I really want to play this one, and I think I'll probably end up double dipping because I'll probably get it digitally when it comes out because Jen's going to want to play it, and that way I can just lend it to her. or just get it for her digitally and just borrow her copy for a little bit, and I'll wait to get a physical one for myself. I'm hoping that eventually comes, but I don't know. I've been looking forward to this one. This next story, Steven, I'm going to let you read because you posted this and I laughed so goddamn hard when I looked more into this. So I'm going to let you talk about it real quick.
Basically says an unnamed mid-size Japanese game developing team has started asking art applicants to draw pictures in front of them during interviews to prove they aren't using generative AI to try and get a job as an artist. This stems from their old process of the applicant sending in a portfolio and people started claiming they created AI art and got hired, which led to the developer finding out they weren't artists and other issues. And probably because in Japan they didn't want to state go postal, so they were just like, you know what, let's respect the artist. Show us what you got, and that just means that, hey, hungry clicker, you're gonna get hired in an instant.
The more I read about this, it was so funny, but also kind of sad because the art director that was talking about this, with having to change this, he's saying sadly he's getting more pushback from the higher ups who are kind of getting more into that, oh, we should use AI for things more and more. And he's not sure how much longer they're going to listen to his advice that we should have actual artists to make things. If you're going to use a kind of AI, maybe use it as a tool for something on the side, but not artists, air quotes. And he's kind of worried how that's going to go. So it's a little sad, but also this was hilarious to read.
Why hire a chef? I just want to hire somebody who knows how to microwave.
Right. Yeah, I can't cook, but I can look up recipes real good. And it'll make up stuff that will probably kill you. Lastly, this one I thought was kind of fun. EA has done something good for once, as they have made 8 more of their accessibility patents free to use for everyone, leading to now a total of 46 different ones since 2021. These include things like the means to simplify controls based on intent, colorblind filters, speech audio generation, and a whole lot more. And we've talked back and forth with Nintendo and with, we're talking about Warner Brothers with the Nemesis system and things like that of mechanics being kind of privately held with these patents. But I think we have to actually kind of give EA some credit for the fact that they're getting these patents, but then giving them out for free so they can be used by everyone, especially for accessibility. Like, that's a huge thing.
Before they get swallowed next year by Saudi Arabia.
Right. And then they'll probably pull every damn one of them back. So, yeah. Use your accessibility while you got it, I guess. All right. Let's jump over to this week's big question. This will probably be a little bit of a shorter one today just because it's been a long show. But with the sad run of companies buying up others to make mega corporations that will offer worse games and entertainment for more money with less options, what is a company or IP that you would hate to see gobbled up and ruined? Steven, let's start with you.
Let's see. Bungie bought by PlayStation. No, wait, that already happened.
Yeah, there's already so many terrible examples.
Rare bought by Microsoft. No, fuck, that happened too.
We're living in our personal hells.
Jeremy just bringing up bad memories for all of us right now.
Sorry, I didn't mean
to. Bullfrog being bought by EA. Fuck, that happened too, and then they got shut down.
Yeah, we were just talking about EA. They've got a massive graveyard.
Oh, God. No kidding.
IP that I would hate to see gobbled up and ruined. I don't rightly know, but I would just say that if any IP that Ubisoft would buy, they would ruin it. Because if it's not something they already have, they're going to ruin whatever they can get.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the fault of this question, is there's already so many examples of the wrong thing happening, of good IP or good companies being absorbed.
Because Ubisoft is the only company I know that ruined a quadruple A IP. So they go in that list now. Like, how do you ruin a pirate game?
This is based on a mechanic of a game that you made.
And perfected already, and just needed to release it standalone, and instead you're like, But we have all this shit stinking up the development room. Throw that in there. Throw in some Saudi money, and we've got ass.
It's such a bad game. For me, I think the easy answer for this is like, obviously would be like Nintendo being bought out and just kind of losing what Nintendo is, the time and effort and everything they put into the games. But if I want to think of like a third party or other company, I think one of the ones I'd be most worried to see just kind of gobbled up would be Capcom, because so many of their IPs could be ruined if they try and streamline them down to, make money on it. Street Fighter wouldn't have the time and effort put into it, both for the art, the mechanics, things like that. Resident Evil has already kind of shown what could happen if they overdo it, and God help them, they would probably start pumping them out to where the games would be the equivalent of the movies, and good luck with that. They've actually kind of given Mega Man a break for a little bit. I don't know if we're going to be seeing more of that eventually, but that could kind of get stripped around. But I think that's the bigger one I'd be worried about, is Capcom being eaten up by some of these groups that just want to abuse everything they can for it. Chase, what about you?
Let's see. This would have been 10 years ago. I would have said Pandemic. 5 years ago, I would have probably said Respawn. So I'm not on a good track record as it is anyway.
Yeah, I did not mean for this question to be this depressing. I'm so sorry.
Let's not get started about High Mood Studios either, Activision.
That was my favorite Transformers makers.
Oh, man. As of right now, this is going to be tough. Capcom's a good one. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like.
I kind of thought you would have gone with something like who makes Warhammer, like for that to be just completely.
So many people make
so many people make them, and but a lot of them are owned anyway, because like Relic is owned by Sega, and
well, I mean, just like the IP itself for Warhammer, like who owns?
Games Workshop.
Yeah,
Games Workshop owns the actual IP. I guess that would be like if I wanted to give kind of like a cop out answer, I could say Games Workshop. I'm just trying to think of like a developer.
Wizards of the Coast bought Games Workshop.
Oh, that would be terrible, wouldn't
Isn't
it?
Hasbro trying to buy some of these? Like Hasbro is already actively trying to.
Well, Hasbro already owns Wizards of the Coast, I think.
Right, so I guess I was kind of right saying that.
Yeah. Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, and Wizards of the Coast, I think after that whole transaction, they had a couple bad PR blunders. Yeah. It's one way to put it.
That doesn't stop them, yeah. Good Lord.
But yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of one off the top of my head, like game developer wise, but it's kind of hard to come up with anything.
Yeah, developers have become so ubiquitous for a lot of stuff being kind of taken. That's why I was thinking more of like either particular companies or IPs that we wouldn't want to see.
Because I think
taken, or
if you'd have asked me this question, like even 5 years ago, I made the joke about Respawn, but like if you'd asked me this question even a couple years ago, I might have said Ubisoft, but now it's like Ubisoft can't get out of their own way, so I'm like, fuck it. At this point, somebody buy them. Hopefully, it makes it better. Like, so
this might be an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I'm just, how the mighty have fallen.
It's almost like with IDOS, like Tomb Raider. I mean, it's not everybody likes every Tomb Raider, but like it got better than it was going for a while when they ended up being bought out and merged. So who knows? Chris, what about you?
I mean, mergers aren't always bad. Sega, right. Sammy, Atlas. We had a lot of revivals in that case because the companies didn't want to destroy each other. Mm-hmm. They still let them do what they wanted to. So sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. On that note, leave Sandfall alone. Don't do anything to Sandfall. Let them finish the series.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Clair Obscur is the series. Expedition 33 is just that game in the series.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a one-off. I didn't realize it was designed to kind of continue.
They said it on like an interview. They were like, yeah, actually, get excited. Claire Obscura is the series. Expedition 33 is the story.
And it's
Okay.
basically French for light and dark, or you could say silhouette mirage.
I kind of like. I mean, it's building out a world, so that could be good. Go ahead, Steven.
On the flip side of this kind of question,
Mm-hmm.
I will state that the original, which I was like, wow, the original creator of Fallout has now joined back with Obsidian Entertainment to work on an unnamed project, and he's just like, it's like he said it was like coming home again. He's so happy, so he's unretired.
Nice.
And in a weird twist, if you ever wanted to play Balatro meets Scrabble,
Mm-hmm.
you should look at a game called Beyond Words. It's out for Steam right now, and it's coming to consoles. But it's got two very key developers called Steve Ellis and David Doak. They are the creators of GoldenEye 007 and Time Splitters, and their new development studio is Mindfuel Games. So, Time Splitters devs are back, but they're not making shooters anymore.
Surprising, yeah. I guess that's the upside whenever there's like a merger or people leave, when they go and make a new studio, sometimes that leads to newer titles or development. So
Wasn't there somebody that left from like the original Splinter Cell team and now he's back and he's actually working on the remake or something too?
I was going to
Yeah.
put that in the news. He was not from the original team. He was the current game in development's original director. He left, and this thing's been in languish for so long. He's now come back and is the director of it again. Because I thought it was an original director, and I was like, "Oh, that's going to be great." And then when I read it, I was like, "Oh, never mind. And take that off the news." It wasn't as drastic as I thought. I was like, "Oh, it'd be great to have an original, like one of the first like PC or Xbox directors that made that return." But no, wasn't that, sadly. All right, so go ahead and end that. This has been a healthy sized episode for 199 there. 1 penny more, you'll get our episode of 200 that we'll be doing next week. And yeah, that one we're not really going to be covering any kind of news or announcements. I like how Steven put it. I don't care if there's a merger that takes Nintendo under. We're not talking about it. We are only going to be talking about the history of the show, questions for each other that we'll end up coming up with, as well as we want to get questions and thoughts and things from you, our listeners, our viewers, people we communicate with, people on the Discord and so forth, to message us, and we will ask each other or try and answer these questions on the show. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, like, post your questions on any platform that we exist on,
Mm-hmm.
be it YouTube, be it on Discord, be it on any of your listening platforms. If you want to be at least your username within guidelines mentioned on the show, as long as it's a friendly username, like we'll mention you and mention your question. You can ask it to all three of us, or you can ask it to only one of us. It's entirely up to you. If you're part of our Discord, we will post that question as well. Like, hey, give us 3 questions that you want us to answer. Be it stuff in our back or our opinions. Why do I hate mechs? Or what kind of deep lore do you want to know about our hatred for games or love of games? Like, pick our brain.
Why does Steven hate everything I love?
Exactly. Like, why didn't I watch more G.I. Joe and Transformers when I was a kid? I didn't like it. Just find out all that you wanted to know and more, or just if you like my taste in games, like maybe you want a suggestion for a hidden gem that I didn't get to give in the previous episode. So, prepare to pick our brains.
Yeah, because I just want episode 200 to be a celebration of doing this, because yes, you guys haven't been on every episode for the full 200. There was an existing show prior to it that we started off, but I have done the majority of all these episodes with the 3 of you specifically. Since I think like episode 54, like it's been a while that we've switched over to this format and doing this, and the show has been so much more fun. We have our disagreements. We argue back and forth, and it's hilarious because none of us are being like disrespectful to each other about it. We joke about the fact of how much Steven and I disagree on surprisingly a lot of stuff.
I'm very disrespectful to Hello Games. I would just like to state that on record. Thank you.
I've noticed. Trust me. Which is fine.
And Kojima
Because you're
Productions.
wrong. Yeah, no, we're all... That's a weird one. Like, we're being disrespectful to Kojima, and then he's also like, but make Snatcher, please. I loved it.
I'd rather put pineapple on pizza than play another Kojima game at any point.
Ham and pineapple on pizza is delicious. I love Hawaiian. It's such a good pizza. Yeah, ask us like our favorite foods, our books, comics, art style, artists. What got us into collecting, what we were like as kids. I don't know, anything. We'll answer it within reason. If you're an asshole or if it's some kind of really personal bad question, we will not answer that. Just giving you a heads up.
What's your favorite key on the computer keyboard? We all have different answers.
Right. So that's just how it goes. But yeah, so that's been episode 199. We'll be back with our 200 celebration next week. And beyond that, we're out. Peace.
Expedition 33.
My God. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast by the staff at Zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.